enjoy 90 minutes of that?
I don't know. I feel like trying it would just hurt. I feel like
Yeah.
I
It
feel
wouldn't
like
even
you'd
be good for
hyperextend the back of your tongue.
yeah, also I don't even think she'd enjoy it either. I wouldn't think. Cause
If
it's
if I
like
were her, I'd be bored as fuck.
yeah,
I guess
right?
unless
Like
maybe it's like, FaceTiming the parents or watching a movie or
well,
something, you know?
yeah.
I don't know. Would that be enjoyable? I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe they misspelled minutes.
I doubt it. You wouldn't get a
Yeah,
cake. Wouldn't
yeah.
get a. Oh, okay, I'm not doing that. Lol. Okay, I freaked out for a second. No, it's fine. I will pull up the picture. Whoop. All of our.
What if, oh my god, holy shit. Yo, what if the period is actually like a fucked up extension of the one's little baseboard doohickey and it's actually 15 hours?
Uh,
Also, why the fuck does this person, hang on a second. Why, oh my god, wait, both their T's have it. Why do both of their T's look like J's? Why do they like
Tease?
curve the bottom? Yeah, thanks. The T in
Dude, why you
thanks
gotta
is like
talk shit,
curved to
dude?
the left.
She was
And then the T in
falling down.
eating.
Her knees were collapsing, okay? She couldn't hold. She made this immediately afterwards, okay?
Oh, you know what? Maybe he actually ate her. Like legs.
maybe
That
he
could take an hour and a half.
maybe he hollowed out the inside of her chest cavity.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
former meaning
is that
eating
what this
out.
cake is? Because we can't
Yes.
actually see the cake portion. We just see whatever the fuck this shit is.
Dude, I got so many cringe games on here. Jesus Christ. Okay, sorry. Okay, this dickhole is, I guess, almost ready. That's fucking vibe. I'm about it. Maybe he'll get
Oh,
his shit together. Dude, I feel like after I do a couple of these, I'm not going to be nervous, but I'm always like, what if I get blown the fuck out because they were just hiding their IQ behind the pebble they presented to me? What happens? I don't know. I'm going to feel real bad. I don't think it's possible. I mean, what I don't know. This is going to be a fucking professor of criminology at Harvard, and he just doesn't know the time zone, and he telecommutes. He doesn't know the time zone because his Stephen Hawke-esque wheelchair has wheeled him around his home for 38 years, so he has no need for time.
what if it's like, yo, man.
Something I'll have you check, Sheev, just because you're home and you're by your computer. Um, when I pop the stream, I just need you to check if you can hear him. I think you should be able to.
Okay.
But just in case, because I have fucked that up like the last two streams, because I misclick a thing, or I'll accidentally mute a thing.
Yeah, I can let you know.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We'll just do just cam. Crow, my liquidation consultant guy, who's like guiding the liquidation of our company, has a "Don't Tread on Me" face mask. How cool is that?
No. Have you seen the picture? I saw it the other day, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked it. It was I, it was an edited picture of the "Don't Tread on Me" rattlesnake, and it said, "Please tread on me," and it had a ball
Oh,
gag
yeah.
in, and it was tied up.
And it was like leaning back.
Yeah, and it was blushing.
Yeah.
That's me.
Oh,
Um,
of course it is. Step on me, mommy.
nah, just That's just a vibe, you know? It's a mood.
It's your only mood.
It's your only
I
setting.
have more than that mood. There's like 2 others.
You're like the worst fucking Furby, okay?
You're right.
There's one I kind of like. So they have like one that's kind of fucked up. It says no step on snack, and it's kind of like shittily drawn. I like that one, but then there's one that's ultimate, and it's just snack, SNEK, and it's just a line, like a wiggly line. It's cringe though. People who unironically have this shit like on their stuff, I'm like, oh my god. You're such a fucking LARPer, dude.
Like, dude, if you and a fucking rattlesnake were put into a boxing ring and you were both given pairs of gloves, and the snake can't even wear the gloves, but he'll still knock your ass out. There's not.
Dude, sometimes I'm like, women shouldn't be able to vote. And it's like, alright, this kid's ready. I'm gonna go hop over there for like an hour and a half.
Alright.
Maybe I'll do stuff later. Yeah, Sheev, after I pop the stream, just let me know if it's working. I'm just gonna tell him like, hey, don't use slurs, don't give out personal information, and then I'm gonna like
Okay. I will I'll say if it's working in your chat.
alright, thank you, bud.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Fantastic. Just don't give out any personal information. Don't say the N-word, okay?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
All right, cool. So, we're gonna talk about gun control and possibly some other stuff. Correct?
Sounds fine by me.
All right. So, essentially, my position is I think that we have some gun regulation that we could impose to limit the number of gun deaths in the United States. I think limiting the number of unnecessary deaths probably a good thing if we can do it.
Okay. So, from your standpoint, how would you put these in place?
Real quick, just so I know, are you like a hardcore Second Amendment purist? What's kind of your how would you describe yourself on this?
I wouldn't say hardcore, but I'm definitely for the Second Amendment.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Do you think gun control regulation can be done well, or generally is, or isn't, or?
It already is. I mean, there's already tons of regulations, which is in violation of the Second Amendment. There's already tons in it. I don't know why you need more.
It's not in violation of the Second Amendment. We can talk about that too, but so I guess firstly, I guess I can give you my prescription for what I would do, and then we could talk about that. We could talk about the Second Amendment, whether or not it violates it, whether or not you agree with my prescription. That work for you?
Fine by me.
All right, so essentially, what I'd like to do, pretty much easy, cut and dry, is kind of 2 steps. I'd like gun licensing to be federally mandated, gun licensing that requires passing written and practical tests to obtain a gun license to purchase any firearm or ammunition. And I would like to have everybody who possesses a firearm to be paying some amount of liability insurance, even if it's an extremely small amount.
Right, right.
Also,
I got a
National
question
Gun
with that
Registry,
liability,
I'm
though.
degree down for, yeah.
Right, right. I got a question for that liability. So,
Yeah.
like, sure, if you gave a person a liability insurance, no matter how small or big, I don't see how that person would be reliable, right? If that person were to commit a crime with said weapon and never get caught with it, you get what I'm saying?
Well, if they're never caught with
Be,
it, I mean, yeah. But it's the same if I hit somebody with my car, my liability insurance isn't going to do anything if I drive away, right? It covers
I
the
mean,
it's if I can't cover every case, I can cover a decent amount of them. And it's not necessarily just if a crime is committed. It could be something accidental too. Even if I have a gun
right.
discharge and it accidentally hits your car or vehicle, you're fucked right now. Unless you pursue me in civil court, which most people don't have the money to do, you have no recourse. However, if there's a liability program and I am shooting through my fence and I hit the fuck out of your house, you know what? You can get
Hmm.
that paid for.
Right, right.
That and medical bills are pretty good too, even for accidental shootings. Not even necessarily crimes, but accidental shootings and crimes as well. But
It just seems so much, just it seems so much like you're putting so much into something that's not really a big problem in today's world, if you know what I'm saying. It just seems like you're making it harder for a person to obtain a weapon. You know what I
yep,
mean?
that's the general goal, I guess. Um,
Yeah, but with Second Amendment, you know, pro or just whatever you like to call us, but we say that as like a violation of the Second Amendment, which kind of is if you think about it.
yeah, let's talk about it. So, the Second Amendment. Do you know what the Second Amendment is? Like the text?
Like the word for word.
Yeah.
Nope,
Okay.
because
Can
I
you
can't remember shit.
briefly sum it up for me?
Well, it says the people, has the right to form a militia whenever I can't remember whenever a government is tyrannical, and a right to bear arms. That's what I remember for the Second Amendment.
I guess kind of. Do you think so? Is the Second Amendment two rights, the right to form a militia and the right to bear arms, or one right, or what do you think it is?
Why can't it be both?
Well, it because that's not how numbers work. There's either one of something or two of something. In this case, is the Second Amendment two separate rights or a single right? And there's Supreme Court case law for both. So, however you want to vibe with it, I guess.
Well, I can't
All right, so
necessarily which is which.
So, for the sake of ease, the Second Amendment is a well regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Uh, the right of the people's, or, oh God, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, right?
Right.
So, we definitely need that text at the beginning, right? So, a well regulated militia being necessary to
Hmm.
the security of the free state, and that's not an individual right. Correct? A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. That's not a right. That's a preface, I would say. I would argue. And I would argue
I
this
guess.
because at the time when the Bill of Rights, I guess, was written, standing armies weren't really a big thing for the United States, especially through the Revolutionary War. It's not like we just had a huge standing army to pull from. A lot of it was militias, right? So,
Yeah.
currently the security of the free state is maintained by the U.S. military, is it not?
Could you repeat that?
Yeah. So the security of the free state is secured by our military, correct? To protect us from influence, foreign and domestic, we use the U.S. military, right?
Yeah. Of course.
So it seems like well-regulated militias aren't necessary to the security of the free state anymore.
But they are if your government turns tyrannical.
Okay, we can go to that real quick. I just want to establish that it, as written, the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms is only to keep a militia, which is necessary to the security of the free state.
I'm gonna personally have to look into that more.
That's fine.
Not that I don't trust you or anything. Just it's always best to do your own research and yada yada. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine. So if the government turns tyrannical, I guess we can talk about that possible recourse. So, this fear that you have, or this, I don't know, this justification that you want to keep if the government turns tyrannical, do you... So what, you expect the U.S. military to march into homes and start shooting U.S. citizens, like, en masse? Like,
No,
just invade
no,
states, or...
that's an exaggeration. To be fair, my dude. No, like my view is like I'm a proud American. I'm proud of I love my country and everything. But if the government or military, decide, to turn over on us civilians, doing tyrannical shit, I would say that would be a time to take up arms. You know what I mean?
Do you think if I mean, sure, if you want to shoot U.S. soldiers, you're more than welcome to. But
Oh, that's the last thing. I'm pretty sure that's the last thing I want to do.
I mean, in case they turn tyrannical or they turn on you, right?
Yes, kill or be killed. Yeah.
Yeah. So my concern would be you'd be pretty fucked if the U.S. military turned tyrannical or and
Oh
decide to
yeah, no
come
doubt,
after you.
no doubt.
So what guns do you have, or do you plan on acquiring that
Well,
can protect you from that?
thinking about back then when they started making all these Bill of Rights, the militia at the time they were facing against the probably the best military at the time. The Brits. You know what I mean?
I think
Probably the
that
best, well-equipped army at the time. I believe so. And the
we'll
militia,
say
all they
sure.
have is just their muskets.
Well, yeah,
Not
but that's
much.
what the British had, right? The British didn't have like predator drones that are invisible and can carpet bomb
Well, no, no,
places.
no, no. But at the time, they were the most powerful, security, whatever mumbo jumbo. You know what I mean? And the
Okay.
militia, they fought back, and they did it hard. And yeah, man, fucking, I know they got drones and all that, bombs, and yeah, the government would probably easily wipe us out. But, fighting is just a stance. It shows that you're not willing to go down without a fight. In my view.
Okay. So gun regulation, we should hold off on more in case the United States military
But,
turns. I'm a little confused here. So help me clarify. So in case the government turns tyrannical, we
mhm.
need to fight, and more gun regulation will not allow us to fight. Is that
That's not my statement. But like, okay, like I don't
right?
want the gun laws and legislations right now. What we have, I don't mind those. I want those to stay. I don't want them to be removed. I like them just the way they are. I don't want more being added. Okay,
Well, they don't seem very effective, do they? Generally speaking.
they are though. You got background checks, federal background checks. When you go to gun shop, you can't just immediately walk out when you buy a gun. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, when you
That's what
go
a
to a
lot of
gun shop. Yeah.
yeah, gun shop. You think you can do that at a gun show? Well, actually,
It depends on the
I think
state.
yeah, it does depend on the state. I've been to several gun shows and I never bought a gun, so I'm not sure. But shit, I forgot where I was.
No, you're fine. So I think essentially what you're saying is we have good things in place already. We have federal background checks. If you go to a gun show, sorry, if you go to a gun shop, you can't just walk out, and there's federal background checks, and that's enough.
No, there's plenty more. At a gun, have you heard of the gun show loophole?
Yeah.
Do you believe that to be, a real thing?
Well, it does exist in some states. You can buy a gun with no documentation.
Yeah, if it's a
And
private
and
sale,
even
like a
without
family
gun
giving
shows,
off
you
to
could
another one.
yeah, you could also go to in some places you could go to a yard sale and you could purchase a gun without any paperwork at all, right?
Really, I would love to see that. I ain't never been to a yard sale where they sell guns. I would love to see that.
I guess all I have is anecdotal examples. I guess that's not happening a ton, but yeah, and, I mean, if somebody's selling a gun at a
Yeah, I
yard
get your
sale, you
point.
can yeah.
Yeah. Um, I would say to them, I don't, I don't
So
see how. Continue.
so more gun regulation, you think would it'd be redundant. It
I
wouldn't
think
help.
it would cause up and stir up controversy with us, pro Second Amenders,
I don't give a
because
fuck about controversy or how you feel.
well,
um,
I'm saying that controversy could lead up to more and more until there's probably backlash or violence, just like now these riots and bullshit.
yeah, I know,
It
but
could
I
probably happen
mean,
like that.
in the United States, if we want to do something controversial or whatever, and we're afraid of backlash, I mean, we've done it before. Remember the Civil War?
The Civil War.
Yeah. So, like, taking away slavery, for instance, that caused a lot of backlash and it led to violence, no? I don't give a
I'm
fuck
pretty
how
sure it
people
did, yeah.
feel. I care about what they
Yeah,
should.
slavery was a bad
Anyway,
thing. I'm glad it's gone.
let's go about let's. That's good. I'm glad. So let's go over my prescription specifically.
Right.
Having to pass written and practical tests to have a gun
hmm
license to purchase a firearm or
hmm
ammunition. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Why should we do that? Why
Well,
should that be in place?
it just seems like in countries that already have that, it's extremely effective.
Is it really though? Is it
Yeah,
really?
so like per capita gun deaths in places that require gun licensing are way low compared to the United States. Places like
Um,
Japan and Canada, for instance.
Canada. Ooh.
I know off the top of my head, for instance, U.S. gun deaths per capita is 4.43 in the United States per 100,000, and in Japan it's 0.04.
hmm
So we're like 1,000 times higher.
But what about the UK? What do you think about the UK gun laws?
Well, the UK also has less gun violence, generally, less suicides and less homicides with firearms. So, also yes, not
Mm,
just the UK, but all of you or most of Europe has no, I think actually all of Europe. I can pull it up real quick. I think all of Europe has
I'm pretty sure it does. Europe,
yeah.
all of Europe.
Yeah. So
But
so what
okay,
do I
let's get back to the written
Yeah, so it
test and
says
all.
so it says I have it right here actually. The United Kingdom is 0.06 gun deaths per 100,000, and again we're at 4.43. So little higher
hmm
there. Yeah.
But what if I told you that if you just lower the gun crime, and if you were to successfully do that, wouldn't you think that all the other crime and deaths would go up like fucking to the roof, through
So
the
you
roof?
so you mean like deaths with other causes? So
Like
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 blunt
knives, like
objects,
knives.
knives.
In the UK,
Yeah, yeah.
between the gangs, the teenage gangs, they're extremely common. It's just relentless, dude.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and this is uh especially I guess specifically when it comes to mass murder, much harder to do with things like knives and bats. Even if homicide were to stay the exact same, you don't see these
hmm
like huge national tragedies. I think there's been like one knife attack that's rivaled a major U.S. shooting. But I mean, like, I know the UK last year had one of their bloodiest weekends on record, and it was like 2 dead and 10 injured with knife crime. And this
Did
was
you
coming a couple months after we had
did you
what
say
52
Canada or
people die.
UK?
The UK.
Oh, okay, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. It just seems like generally it's much harder to cause a lot of damage with a knife for the general person. Or
But
even if
that's just not true. It's just not true.
no, it's I would say I think it not only is it's just intuitive. It's much easier to take
It,
a
it may
handgun with
seem
a
like a good
17
plan.
round mag and kill people than it is to take a knife and kill the same amount of people. No.
I, it, de- I can't say yes or no because it entirely depends on what the person is, how much training and experiences person has with firearms, what the
I mean,
situation is, wherever the location is at. It depends on everything, really.
I mean, if we were just to look at mass shootings, it's not like all these mass shooters need a load of military training typically to kill a ton of people.
Yeah, I know that. I know that, but it's not a common thing.
Huh.
If you think about it, it's
If
not
it's
really
so
a common
easy
thing.
to if it's so easy to do these mass killings with like knives and bats and things, why don't they happen much in the US?
Because it's so much easier to get a gun in the U.S. You know, China has the
Yeah, it
most strict.
is. I
Hold up,
agree.
just hold
I
up,
agree. No.
hold up, hold up, hold up,
Okay.
hold my dude. China
Okay.
has the most strict gun laws. Are you aware?
Uh okay. I don't know if they're the most strict, but
Well, you know, I would say they're pretty strict. But
you can own a gun for self-defense there, correct?
can you?
I can look it up real quick.
Well, anyways,
Either way,
there was this
China's
one
lower than
incident.
ours, but
Well, yeah, I agree with that. But anyways, there's this one case with this one dude. He he like hurt and killed, I think, one kid and injured over a dozen other elementary school children with just a knife in China. You
he
think you think a gun
killed
to do that?
one and injured how many?
Over a dozen.
Oh wow. Should I look
No,
up
I'm
school
not.
shootings where more than one person has died this year, or last year, or the year before?
No, but I'm saying you can just cause as much damage with a knife as a gun.
I don't know. The major case you just pulled out was one death and how many injured?
Okay, hold up. There's another case in Britain. In Britain, or no, not Britain. London, I think. I forget. Let me pull it up. It was before the whole gun ban and everything, like in the '90s. I forget.
Okay.
But would it make you feel better if I were to tell you that you would have to pass a written exam to get your concealed carry license?
I don't care about concealed carry licenses. That's not I mean, I already know that you have to do that. My thing is, uh, you shouldn't be able to. I don't think my prescription is you shouldn't be able to own a gun or you shouldn't be able to buy ammunition without a firearms license with written and practical tests. By the way, in Japan, what they do, and they have some of the strictest gun laws in the world, you have to pass a written and practical test, then you have to go to the hospital, you have to take a mental health test, a drug test. The practical test for shooting, you have to score above a 95.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, in a perfect world, let's say we put everything you offered into place, right?
hmm
What makes you think that, if a person were to, do all the background checks, the tests, drug tests, whatever, yada yada, what makes you think that said person won't do some horrific crime in the foreseeable future?
It's possible they might, and it probably will happen. The point of the gun regulation I offer isn't to put an absolute end to all gun deaths
I know,
ever
it's
in the
to
US.
lower it.
Yeah, and if something is harder to do, it happens less,
But if you
generally
do that,
speaking.
you're basically doing the same thing as what they did in the UK. They got it harder to own guns, and all the other crime just went up. It's
Did
it's not
gun
as
violence reduce?
yeah,
So
but
it
at what
seems like gun
cost? More,
regulation reduces gun
dude.
violence. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, you're lowering specifically gun violence, not the other violence and death. All the other deaths and violence
Dude,
from knives,
if
drugs, uh, suicides. Those don't count. These gun deaths
so
are what's the main problem.
Well, the thing is, it's a problem that we seem to be able to solve. For instance, if I was able to take away all the cars people drove, but there were
Hmm.
more bike fatalities, horse
Well, a car is
fatalities,
a
or
privilege. A
bus
gun is a right.
fatalities. I'm aware of that. I'm not conflating them. I'm just saying, like, if I took away all cars and
Hmm.
bicycle fatalities increased because
Right.
their use, I mean, where are we at? If people can't do one thing, they
Well,
might do something else. But the thing is,
cars
it's
cars aren't
harder.
usually used for murder.
Okay, I just scrap that analogy. Clearly, that's not gonna work here. That's not a great analogy anyway. Um, okay, so owning a gun is a right, and there's some debate on that, even in the Supreme Court. Um, but let's say owning a gun's a right, sure. Well, if we can reduce gun violence, Why
Mhm.
would we not do that?
I say we would do that, just
Cool.
not the way you're proposing it.
Why?
Just my opinion.
It works
I
in
don't
other
like go.
places. Why shouldn't it work
For
here?
me personally, I don't like going through all those extra steps just to own a simple handgun, a 22,
You know who
some
else doesn't like to go through all those extra steps? Criminals.
criminals,
Criminals.
indeed. But you
Yeah.
know how else criminals just get their shit off of the black market or some other illegal way,
Where do
Like,
you think
you
the
ain't gonna
black
stop
market
nothing from
weapons
them.
come from generally?
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, they're not wished into existence by Wanda and Cosmo, right? Like, these guns come from
It's
somewhere.
obviously some other big country. I'm not sure though.
Another major country is importing most of our illegally used firearms? Or do you think that's happening?
I have no
Sorry.
idea.
Well, it's not. I mean, there is some illegal gun smuggling and there is some illegal gun smuggling, but not in
Well,
mass. We already
no
have
matter
all the
how.
guns, getting them imported here. A lot of them are stolen from people who
Mhm.
purchase them legally that then
Okay,
enter the black market, right?
I guess. Not
So
sure.
through a thing like the National Gun Registry, like I proposed, if
Uh
a
huh.
gun we can track firearms more effectively, right?
But that's what a serial number is for.
Okay,
Or
not all guns are registered, and there is certainly no national registry, or not like one we need, right?
I. And criminals you're gonna stop a criminal from scraping off the serial number?
How about this? So Canada found the majority of their gun violence was coming from guns imported from the United States. Why aren't they just
Damn.
scratching off the serial numbers off guns in their country?
How do you know they aren't?
Well, the
Got
track
you there. I
the
got you there. I
I
got you there.
I guess their Justice Department isn't tracking that's where guns are coming from. A lot of the guns used in Canada to commit homicide are imported from the United States.
Maybe.
Or
Well,
Chicago, you
what about
should
the recent case? What about that one recent case with that dude smuggled an AR-15? I think I forget what gun he smuggled in.
probably not.
You remember? You know what I'm talking about?
No. Okay, someone smuggled a gun.
It was a recent. It was a mass shooting in Canada. Where guns are legal and shit. It
Okay.
was just recently. I thought
So
you heard of it.
so someone smuggled a gun from where? The US?
I have no
Or
idea. I was just
okay.
asking if you knew what case I was talking
No, I
about.
didn't. But I would assume if they had to smuggle it, I would wonder if they smuggled it from a different country. And if so, I'd ask why the fuck they're smuggling guns when you can just buy one off the black market so easily.
I don't know, man. You gotta ask him.
Okay, I guess I'll do that. Um, okay, so the guns, all the illegal guns that people use, where do they come from?
I don't know.
You understand why we're having a problem here?
Do you
They
plan to tell me where they come from?
they're most of them are bought legally and
From
then stolen, traded. What do you mean from gun stores? They're obtained legally. How do you legally obtain a firearm in the US? That way, that is how they're obtained.
Okay, what was the first question you asked me?
The first question I asked you was your stance on gun regulation, I believe. Or if you were a Second
Not
Amendment.
the not the very first question. I was talking about like 10 seconds ago, but
Oh,
never mind.
Christ. Where are all the illegal guns coming from?
Right, and you went off some mumbo jumbo rant. But do
Yeah,
you know where
I
these
guess.
illegal guns come from?
Most of the illegal guns are purchased legally. That's where they are first obtained before they enter the black market.
Here in the United States, though.
Yes,
Okay,
I
that's all I
believe
needed,
that's
man.
correct.
That's
Yeah.
all I needed, my dude.
Oh, I thought I said that. I apologize.
No, but I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know.
That's fine. Okay, so how about this? How about a national gun registry? Do you have any issue with that?
I don't have an issue with it per se,
Cool.
but I'm not just. I'm like, with it.
Talk me through it.
Like I said, me personally, that just seems too much just to own a handgun or a firearm. It just
All we would
too
do
much.
is when you buy a handgun, we would
Mm-hmm.
enter your name into a list and we would register that handgun and we would say that you purchased that handgun. That seems like too much. That how much is that adding to your process of purchasing a firearm? Would be my question.
It just seems. It seems like a bootleg version of a federal background check, my guy.
Well, it's not a background check because we're not checking on anything. We're just entering you into a system so we can see if your gun is later used in a crime. We can try and trace, okay, this is where it happened. Maybe this is where it was entered. Or if guns are seized, we
Okay,
can
so
understand that. Or we can more easily track like straw purchases and people who buy guns for other people because the guns are registered to them and then end up in someone else's possession. Perhaps. We could do that with
uh-huh.
National Gun Registry. I think that'd be a big bonus.
I mean, doesn't the government have records? Wherever we are at any time, where they can just find us. That seems a bit too
Well,
much.
other than the chip in your brain, no. I thought that was coming
Shipping
on.
your brain.
Yeah, no, it's a.
I like it.
No,
I
we
like
don't
it.
have a national gun registry, although we should. We should be able to track. I believe we should be able to track who purchases a firearm, what firearm they purchased, and
Hmm. Hmm.
if it's in their possession.
Hmm.
I don't see major downsides to this. It sounds like you're kind of in agreement,
Hey,
almost.
there, there may or may not be. I may agree with you, but shit, man, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, okay, so no gun registry. Let's just do
Hmm.
uh practical tests. To own a firearm, to get your gun license, practical tests. What'd be wrong with having people show that they are proficient in using a firearm before they're allowed to take it home?
Well, what kind of test? Like what?
For the practical tests, like shooting tests, range tests to show that you can like
Mentally, physically, or
I
including?
guess both, that you can operate a firearm. Also, I would have the practical tests include cleaning and storage, but I just mean like a range test for this specific example. Like, what'd be wrong with making people show that they know how to use a firearm safely before they take it home?
Well, why do I gotta prove something just to get approved by someone? That doesn't seem fair.
N- no, it's the same for a lot of things. So, for instance, I probably wouldn't hand a child a cutting knife until I understood they knew how to safely use a knife, right?
Right.
Yeah, so all it is I just want that child to be able to use the knife before I let them have a knife. That's it.
But like, who do you think who do you think goes out and buys guns? Not the people who've never touched a gun in their life or has ever seen one, right?
Well,
Only people who buy guns are the ones who actually have experience. Ex-cops, Marines,
and that's not
civilians.
true. That's not true. A lot of people in the United States own a gun, mostly for
Well,
defense, which we'll also get to.
now since the fucking
Well, I'm talking about
liberals and
now.
all,
What,
yeah,
everyone buys
liberals.
guns all the time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
A lot of people buy guns. I just want to make sure that the people buying guns know how to operate the guns, right? And
Of course.
in practice, well, we can talk about the practical test too. So, for instance, gun safety stuff, how to check if the gun's loaded, unloaded,
Hmm.
where can you safely fire, getting a backstop, things like this, and then also cleaning, maintenance, storage, things like this. Having a test for these things, I also think would be beneficial. I think it sounds dangerous, intuitively, to send people home with a gun when they have no idea what having a backstop means, or when it's safe to fire, how to check if it's loaded or unloaded. Realistically, a blind person could walk into a gun shop, request a gun, get the paperwork filled out. The blind person could then receive the gun, have no idea how to load it or operate it, and take it home. Is that possible?
That is not. I don't think that's realistic, my guy. A blind
It is
guy
in
walking
Wyoming.
into a gun shop.
It is in Wyoming, at least. Yeah. Well, if they can find it, I guess.
I mean, I think it would be pretty obvious, tell what a blind guy looks like in a gun shop. I don't know. I'm just saying.
So,
I
are
don't
you
think
willing
a gun
to?
owner.
Are you willing to infringe on the rights of blind people and not let them buy a firearm?
Dude, if you can't see, hell no, you can't. You should not shoot. The fuck?
But why? The Second Amendment says the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. I thought, aren't you the pro Second Amendment guy? Can't violate the Second Amendment.
Dude,
Just because they're blind, they don't have a right to protect themselves from a tyrannical government?
oh,
What?
dude, I mean, if they can have some sense where they can see out their buttholes and
No
shit,
sight. They
can
have
shoot.
no eyes. They just wear
I
a
know.
headband like Snake in the cartoons that I don't remember. G.I. Joe? Is that it? They're fucking blind. They can't see anything.
Yeah.
Why would you
I'm just-
infringe on these people's rights? That's what I want to
I'm-
know. Because I'm willing to infringe on their
Oh,
rights, all right? I'm willing to
Dude,
say, fuck
it's
you, you're
common
blind,
sense.
you probably
It's
can't have a gun
common
because you
sense.
can't... But here's the thing. I'm saying, yeah, it's common sense. We shouldn't allow these people to buy guns.
Who's
My
these
position...
people?
Like a blind person. A blind person couldn't...
Dude,
own a gun.
hold up. Do you honestly believe a gun shop owner who, knows everything about the law is going to sell a gun to a blind person?
Again,
I don't know if there's a specific
you're the
rules
one
for
who's
that.
here to defend not infringing on people's Second Amendment rights. What if the
I'm talking about
tyrannical
my
government
rights.
rises up? Oh,
Dude, okay, look. If
What?
you can give if a
do
blind
blind
person
people
can,
not deserve the right to protect themselves from a tyrannical government?
dude,
because-
if they can learn to shoot like John Wick when they're blind, I don't give a fuck. Give them a rifle.
Cool, I
don't
agree,
care.
dude. If they pass the practical tests that I want to implement, if they can pass those, fuck it, let them have a gun. Yeah,
Yes, I'm with you. If they
True.
can do that, I'm
Based.
fucking with you.
sick. Okay,
Fucking with you.
so practical and written tests, we can see a point to them, right?
Yes.
Do you think that practical and written tests would do anything to reduce the number of gun accidents or unsafe gun handling in our country?
Nope.
Why?
I can't give you a definition reason. I can't give you an exact reason, but if that were to take place and go into action and we get some results, I have to give my answer.
Okay, so I have to implement the policy you're against before you know if you can support my policy? It seems fucked up.
Yes. I know.
All right.
Hey, you got a lot of people that's against you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people, but they don't seem to have arguments. Okay, so the written and practical tests. Why shouldn't we do them? Because it makes it harder to get a gun. I agree. People who can't safely operate a gun
Well, hold
and
on.
people who don't understand gun safety
I-
probably shouldn't have a gun. That's my
I
opinion.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
I take my that one word back. Harder. I don't think it would be harder. I think it would just prolong until you require that gun you're trying to get. I don't think it would be
Possibly.
harder. Just prolong it.
Well, I'm just pointing to policy that they have in other the gun liability insurance they don't, but I'm just pointing to policy that other countries have, like Canada and Japan, for instance, with gun
Yeah.
licensing.
But
Here,
like,
how about this? This'll get you nice and hard, okay? Because this is like so
Oh, I'm
pro
ready.
gun, you're gonna love it, all right?
I'm
So
ready.
I'm willing to, if people are willing to accept my practical and written and practical tests to purchase firearms, I am willing to allow people to buy like a couple of specific firearms without having passed that. So things like single action revolvers, certain types of shotguns, and possibly bolt action rifles, or maybe drop lock, depending on capacity. I'm willing to allow what I would consider low impact firearms to go without these checks.
So
If I can get the checks,
what's not a low impact weapon to you?
So something that would have, I think the biggest problem we have with firearms is like semi-automatic pistols, right?
Which is every pistol.
So like clip-fed pistols, right?
No, you got me there. I said almost every pistol, but yeah, almost every pistol.
Again, if somebody's willing to get a gun license for the that kind of pistol, if they want to have a revolver without a gun license, I'm okay with that because generally it's going to cause less harm than the other type of firearm. And that's only to placate the extreme Second Amendment, give me my guns people. I don't think what I'm asking is too extreme. Like, if you can't pass a written and practical test for a firearm, you shouldn't own one.
So,
if you can demonstrate a specific need for special types of firearms, that's also okay. But I think we both agree some gun regulation is okay. Nobody needs access to everything.
I still don't know what type of other guns you mean when you say low impact and special weapons, because
so what I mean by that
really
is
have that option.
How about this? Guns that take a decent amount of time to reload, generally speaking. Even like revolvers, people talk about like speed reloaders and things. These take training, right?
Yeah, you're talking about bolt action. You're talking about shotguns. You're talking about
certain types of shotguns.
You're talking about a flintlock pistol, my guy.
No, I'm talking about revolvers, certain types of shotguns, and bolt-action rifles.
I'm fucking with you.
Yeah. Well, okay, so the written and practical tests. Let's just get back to that. I'm trying to move... What other problems do you have with this, other than you think it'll extend the period of time it'll take to get a gun? My idea is to kind of sort of replicate the policy that they have in countries with far less gun crime. And this seems to be a very effective way to do it.
But, again, you're not really... all you're doing is just lowering the deaths and violence and crime just for guns.
Yeah, that's fine.
Why would you not try to do that with everything else, which is fucking skyrocket, right? And when you do this with the legislation, you're not giving the right for the people to defend themselves. Like, how are they going to defend themselves?
How are they going to defend themselves? By getting their fucking gun license and going and getting a goddamn gun and then defending themselves, or defending themselves in another way. In fact, we can look at gun defense. Most Americans own a gun for defense. Owning a gun does not make you safer. In fact, it increases your risk of suicide having that gun stolen and used on you, or
No, I don't.
It does. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. I know this is a fact.
Where did you get that? Have you experienced that?
Have I experienced? It's not about what I experienced. I don't care about anecdotes. I'm happy to link it to you later, but yeah, I know because I've debated this before, and I think we've talked about specifically before. There's one study going around about like legal gun defense uses. I don't know if you've heard about this, where it tries
self-defense cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about them all the time.
Yeah, the problem with the big study on using a gun for self-defense is it doesn't measure outcomes at all. It uses self-reported. So, to my knowledge, there is not a lot of data on whether owning a gun actually improves the outcome of defending yourself or your property. It seems like a home defense system is far more effective than having a firearm, generally.
So you don't personally believe that, having a gun for self-defense doesn't usually have the outcome you want as a self-defense person.
Well, the thing is, if you want to have a gun for self-defense, A, you're going to need to know how to use it, which my written
Of
and
course.
practical background checks would cover. The current system does not.
Well, sorry, that's
Well, I want to make it better.
but continue.
Under my
Maybe,
system,
maybe.
people would be better trained to defend themselves. Defending yourself in the home with a firearm isn't that likely because you have to have it. You have to have it and be able to use it.
Well, you only
And shotguns.
you
are
need to
great.
have a and you need to have a concealed carry weapon license to able to conceal carry in public. You can't carry a pistol in public without a license. People can't do that unless you do that. That's illegal. You'll get in trouble for that shit. So that makes no sense. If you have people out here with legal license, you know, you're going to use it for good, which they have. There's so many cases which I'm gladly to show you, and the outcome has been just amazing. You know, there's never, you know, death before, you know, well, maybe some cases, but, you know, the outcome is always better than what you expect with no one there with a gun to defend other people.
I mean, possibly, but what are you using that gun to defend people from?
The other threat was the other person with the gun.
Okay,
Okay,
so
here in Texas, there was a shooting. They recently changed the law where you're allowed to carry guns in churches now, back in September. And maybe a few months after they passed that, there was a shooting here in Church, White Settlement. I live in Fort Worth, right next to it. Pretty sure you heard of it. A good guy with a gun, a concealed carry guy, he took down the threat. But that threat, you know, killed one person, only one person. And the good guy with a gun killed him. Now, the outcome was a dead guy and one unfortunate dead other guy.
So the good guy with
you know,
a
the
gun,
outcome,
what was special about him? He wasn't just a citizen. He wasn't just a normal
it
dude.
wasn't just him. It wasn't just him. There was multiple
The
concealed
guy
carry
who
people
took
there.
down the active shooter, what was special about him?
He took down the threat. He saved lives.
What? Okay. What we're getting at is he was a retired FBI agent with like 15 years of experience. And I don't know if you know this, but for his specific field, he had to have extensive gun training, or far more extensive than any normal citizen would have. So again, somebody trained to use a firearm, a good guy who is trained to effectively use a firearm.
Yeah, you have to train whenever you get a seat. You have to train. You have to go to a shooting range whenever you're applying for a concealed carry license.
How about this?
My dad,
How
he's
about
done
this?
that.
We just train the people who have the guns. Period.
Have the guns.
Yes, you again, under my
Are
system,
you talking about?
you get your gun license through written and practical testing. Why don't we just have everybody more knowledgeable and everybody be able to use guns more effectively to defend themselves
Well,
or to defend their property? Why not
Well,
have
like I
those
said-
people trained from the get-go? Why start at like 5 when we can start at 0?
Well,
Let's start all the way back.
are you wanting to do that forcibly or with people at their will wanting to do that?
If they're willing to get a gun, yeah,
Right.
if they go to get a gun, I'm going to have them get a
So,
gun license. If they don't have a
that's
gun
what
license, I guess I'm
basically-
going to force them into that program. I guess. Or to
Okay,
buy
so
ammunition, that's
I'm
important too.
I'm assuming you live in the United States too, right?
Yes, I live in the most pro-gun state in the union.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
Get them.
Good. I forgot my question.
Okay, so you were saying, oh, Jesus, I apologize.
No, you're good.
So again, why not just have people trained from the get-go? I want people to just own a
right.
firearm and be trained to have the firearm.
Well,
I'm not
you and
handing
me can do that
I'm not
right now.
handing someone a knife if I don't know they know how to use a knife or not, right?
Well, when you say that, why not train them right now? I'm saying that you and me can do. Well, I don't know how old you are, but I can't do that right now. But when I'm 21, I can certainly do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how old you are. but
Can. The
sure
thing
you-
is, I want to make people
Mm-hmm.
pass written and practical tests to own a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
But that's like a false sense of security. That's what it looks like.
What?
Yeah, it looks like a false sense of security, my dude.
What does that
It's
mean?
like okay, you know, like the TSA, they do all those pat downs, like take your shoes off. That's a false sense of security. What do you think they're actually doing, dude? They
Do
ain't
you
looking for
think
bombs under your shoes. They ain't looking for anything.
do you think the TSA is like just a show for a false sense of security and it doesn't actually reduce the threat of like a terrorist attack?
Yes, yes.
Why do you believe that? That sounds like a crazy conspiracy, my
The
dude.
Home Department of Defense sent a test where they sent multiple bomb devices or stuff to make a bomb with, and the TSA did not detect anything whatsoever.
I have
I
a
got that
hard
from
time
source.
believing that. I don't know how
You
much.
give
How
me
much
time,
do you
I'll pull up that
fly?
article for you.
How much do
What's
you
that now?
fly?
How much do I fly?
Yeah, like how much do you travel? Like out of country
Oh,
or in country?
like never, like once in my life.
Okay. That's fine. So the TSA, it's just
Hmm.
like all a ruse to slow you down getting on the aircraft. Do you
Well,
think
no.
has TSA
I,
found anything ever? Has it caught anybody who might have committed a terrorist attack? Has it like prevented any weapons, firearms, or bombs or anything from getting on a plane?
I'm sure it has, but according to this report I got, the Home Department of Defense did a test against with the TSA, without the knowledge, with explosive ordnance, which they put through screening and all. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
the TSA didn't detect any of it at all.
Okay.
You give me time, I'll pull that up for you.
I mean, you're more than welcome to. I wouldn't link it till me until after. I'm not gonna sit here and read
Yeah,
through it and
yeah,
fact check it on stream, but
yeah.
um
Hold up, you're
I
streaming?
mean, even if that's yeah, like I said, don't share any personal information or say the N word.
You're streaming.
Yeah,
You didn't tell me that. You did
I
not
thought I
tell me
mentioned it.
you were going to stream.
Okay, it's okay. No one
I'm.
knows your name unless you want to give it to them, and nobody's watching. Don't worry about it. 2 people are watching.
No, shit, man. I don't care what you know. I don't care if you're streaming or not. I just wish you told me in the beginning. I'm fine with it though.
Okay,
Where
I
were we?
apologize. Essentially, the TSA had bomb material go through, and the TSA,
Right,
other than that,
right.
is a ruse. But they also
No,
catch potential terrorists sometimes, I guess. I don't know. I'm a little
I mean
confused,
I don't.
honestly.
Have you ever seen an article of the TSA capturing a terrorist? When was the last time you seen an article like that?
An article about the TSA catching terrorists. Well, I mean, generally, a lot of the precautions are in place to just reduce the chance of a terrorist attack happening, right?
Yeah,
That's
like the
generally what
government
it's
and
for.
the CIA, the FBI already have implications in place whenever they can detect a person way before they even reach the airport.
This is such a rabbit hole, but I am so curious. So if the TSA is like a hoax, why do we do it? Just the false sense of
I'm not
security?
saying that every TSA employee is just a ruse or whatever. I'm just saying the Department of Home Defense, wherever they did this test at a specific airport, I cannot remember at this time. They just did it at that airport, and the TSA didn't find anything the Home Department of Defense
So
planted as a test.
wouldn't this be a good thing? Because this is a chance for us to detect and improve our security. So
To
for
the TSA?
yeah, so if they showed that we have glaring security problems, I assume there's still a TSA, so they worked on addressing it, no?
I hope to God they do. I don't know, man. I hope to
Okay.
God they did.
I assume they would. To get off this rabbit hole, the TSA and terrorism and whatever. So
Hmm.
written and practical tests to own a gun. What's your issue
Right.
with it?
Well, like I mentioned, it's just like a false security. Like,
It seems to work in countries like Canada and Japan with extreme effectiveness. No, that's factually accurate. Or at least if we look at their gun homicide rate per capita.
I guess doing
Even
that
Europe.
lowers gun deaths.
You even agreed earlier it lowers gun deaths. You just think all the other
Yes.
deaths are going to skyrocket.
Yes.
My point is, if it lowers
I'm gonna
gun
take your word
deaths,
for
let's
it.
do it,
I'm gonna
dude.
take your word for it. Okay, I'm gonna take your word for it. I'm gonna do my research later, but I'm gonna take your word for it.
That's fine.
But I personally believe that, in my eyes, it's just false. It won't prevent anything. It's just the gun death crime rate is just gonna stay on a whatever it's at right now. It ain't gonna change if you
At all?
put those little details in. I don't think it would.
You don't think it'll affect gun change at all if you make it harder to
No.
acquire a firearm?
If you want to
No
stop
gun
gun
violence?
deaths and gun violence,
I don't want to
you
stop
would
that. I want
have
to
to get
reduce it.
you would have to get rid of every gun in America. That's how I see it. I don't see how any other way you can stop gun violence without getting away every single gun and stop importing guns from other countries. I don't see how you can stop gun deaths without doing that shit.
Again, it's not about stopping it, it's about reducing it.
It's about reducing it. Yes.
So here's the thing. A common criticism, I guess you haven't levied it, but some people, when I talk about getting the gun license, that's why I keep having to specify to purchase a firearm or ammunition. I think it works as kind of a retcon for people who already have firearms. I wouldn't require those people to get gun licensing to own those firearms. However, to purchase ammunition, they would have to have the gun licensing. Right?
I guess. I guess.
Again, it generally seems like for the most part, you've come over to, sure, this form of gun regulation could reduce gun violence, but other violence
Yeah,
might
but
increase.
I'm still on the other side. I'm saying it's not practical. It don't seem practical.
What's not practical about it?
The whole thing. No, because on the other side, I do agree with you and shit. But god dang it, man, it's just.
I mean,
hell.
it's fine. What other gun memes do you have? It seems like the gun regulation thing. It seems like we pretty much worked through that.
Well, I personally believe if you don't know a shred of gun knowledge, you shouldn't have a say in gun debate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. That's why I've researched it, and I own several guns.
Right.
I actually competitively shot for the BSA for a little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah, crazy cool.
That's cool.
But here's the thing. If people who don't have an ounce of gun knowledge shouldn't be able to take part in it, why should be able to take part in the debate? Why should people without an ounce of gun knowledge be able to buy a handgun? I don't think they should.
I mean, that's just
Because that's our system right now.
coming from a.
And I'm not out here saying we need to ban the AR-15 because that shit's retarded. I'm saying that, hey, this seems to work in other places. We should probably try it.
Right. But then, like again, I just don't think it would seem practical. It doesn't seem realistic to be implemented in the real world. I don't just see how it will work.
Well, I mean, let's
You
think
get
about it
so much
like
backlash and shit.
let's think about it like a car, like driving a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's think about it like obtaining a driver's license, right? You just show that you know how to operate a vehicle, and you show that you understand rules of the road to some degree, right?
Right.
And we understand that this generally makes people better drivers than if nobody on the road has any knowledge of any road safety or any idea how to operate a vehicle. Generally, people are safer drivers if they're licensed, and that's why we do it, right?
Of course.
So my prescription is to do that with firearms. But we can do it with cars, and it's practical, so why couldn't we do it with firearms?
Well, like I said in the beginning, cars are a privilege, guns is a right.
Let's pretend it's not. Let's pretend that we vote in our representative democracy to repeal whatever you think the Second Amendment is, And then, boom, owning guns is a privilege. Could it be practically implemented in that case?
It practically could, but I hope to God it don't.
Well, if it practically could, so it could practically be implemented in the real world.
Practically.
Okay.
Maybe.
So
Possibly.
So we conceded that point too. I don't know, man. You got any other memes?
Memes?
Yeah. Like what other hot takes do you have on this specific issue? Or if you want to go to something else, I guess we can, but it seems like you kind of agree with the practical and written test for guns. The gun registry you think could work and could help.
I think the gun registry now is a good system, and I don't think it should be changed. That's my stance.
Well, I guess it depends on what your outcome is. Mine is to reduce gun violence, generally speaking. So,
gotcha. I can't think of any topics off my head, but if you got something, I'm open.
Oh well, I don't know, bro. In the group. I'm the libcuck SJW dude, right? Whatever. So I mean, I'm sure if you're this pro Second Amendment and whatever, I'm sure you got some other spicy right wing takes for me. So
well, as a patriotic American, I don't think you should burn my flag. What about that? What do you think about that?
Oh, dude, I burn the flag all day. Fuck the flag. I'll set it on fire. Super awesome. I'm totally into that.
Hell yeah. On the battlefield, my friend.
In fact, I've burnt a flag before. It was awesome.
I disrespect you, good sir.
Well, it's because I support the military and what they fight for, which is my First Amendment right for the government to not crack down on my ability to burn a flag or speak my mind.
Hey, amen, man. I'm saying, exercise your First Amendment. I'm all for that. If you got the right to burn my flag, I have the right to kick your ass. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, sure.
Amen.
If you wanna do political violence for burning a flag, my question would be why? That seems pretty un-American, right? I'm an American. I support freedom, right?
Yeah, it seems a whole lot more American to defend my flag.
Why?
That seems a whole lot. That screams fucking bald eagle bullshit. Fucking fireworks.
It's just
flying.
A flag.
That screams patriotic bullshit.
It's like burning a T-shirt. Like,
it's not burning a fucking T-shirt. It's more than a T-shirt. It's more than cloth, my guy.
It's really not. I guess it's representative of an ideology.
Hey, that's
or
what you
it's
believe,
symbolic
man.
of something.
I believe it's symbolic.
What do you think the flag represents?
I believe it represents what America was founded on, how it was created, who founded America, and how it unites us, patriotic Americans, proud Americans, in liberty and all for one. You know what I mean? All that good jazz.
Do you think that the founding fathers would have been against burning a flag of a country that you wanted to protest? So for instance, if the founding fathers wanted to burn England's flag, for instance, do you think they would have been like, oh man, you know what? Fuck England, but I'm not burning this flag because that would be disrespectful to what England was founded?
I don't know. I mean, weren't the colonials? Didn't they consider themselves British at the time? When they were occupied by British and all.
Some, trust me,
there
were a fair amount of people in the.
Maybe half and half, maybe 50-50, you think? Let's go with 50-50, right?
There were a fair amount of people living in the colonies who didn't consider themselves British, and that's why we have America. And I love America.
Proud Americans. I love America.
Proud Americans. Yep.
I love being American.
So,
I want to be one.
So do I. That's why I like burning the flag, because it's just, again, it's a piece of cloth. It's not really something to get that upset about. Who does it harm, I guess?
It's not much as harming. It's like it's a disrespect act. You're spitting in the face of the people who died and fought for that flag, my dude.
How do you feel about How do you feel about all the U.S. soldiers who have fought and died to protect your right to burn that flag, or to protest the U.S. government? It's peaceful, is it not? It's not violent. It doesn't harm people, does it?
Of course not, but
If it doesn't harm people, I don't see an issue with it. If
it
something's
ain't
not
just
harmful,
about harming. It ain't just about harming, right?
I think it is
I
about
bet
harm.
you would.
If something doesn't harm somebody, I don't give a fuck.
Well, of course, but like I said, it's not really much about harming, but it's just spitting in the face of of proud Americans that respect and look up to the flag and that
But
loves their countries. I mean,
I don't care about I don't care about our country. I care about the people in it.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
may
care
not
about the
do, but
American flag.
other people around you are gonna see that and they're gonna get red boiled high and they're gonna
But why?
they're gonna be mad.
It doesn't harm anybody. It's a
I just told
flag
you.
and it's a
I just
peaceful
told you why.
protest.
I
Because
told
they're
you
getting
why, my
caught
guy.
up. Why are people getting so caught up in their feelings about this?
Why are people burning the flag? Why did you burn my flag?
It's a protest.
Why did you
It's a
and so
peaceful
many burn my
protest.
flag?
It's a peaceful
Okay,
protest
yes,
to
yes.
symbol. Yeah. Okay.
But okay, like from what I can't get it. I don't understand it from the left or anybody else. But since you told me that you've personally done it, why did you burn the flag?
Literally, just so I could say I burnt a flag. So when I had this conversation, I could tell whoever I was having a conversation with, I burnt the flag. And I don't disrespect our
you didn't
military.
have any,
My dad spent 25 years in the Air Force and 2 tours overseas, and he supports my right to burn that flag.
Hey, amen, bro. But,
Amen, yeah.
Shit, I lost my train of thought. No. Damn it, I forgot what I was going to say now.
No, it's fine. It's just, I don't think you're spitting in the face of Americans to peacefully protest. If you're not harming anybody, I don't see the harm in it. The reason I support gun legislation is because not having it seems to be harming people. That's the only reason I support it. Because I want to reduce
what do you
harm.
mean? What do you mean not having gun legislation?
So it seems like introducing the gun regulation I have proposed, and it seems like you agreed,
No,
would reduce gun
I have
violence.
neither agreed or disagreed.
You said, yeah, it would reduce gun violence, but other violence would skyrocket, no?
I said probably.
Okay, well, if it reduces gun violence, that's all the point of gun regulation. We can talk about the other stuff later, but the reason I support that is because it reduces harm, suffering, and death. Preventing people from burning the flag does nothing but protect your feelings.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to say that's just hypocritical right there.
Okay.
If you're going to say that's going to lower, death and harm,
Yep.
That's complete BS, my guy.
Not in Canada or Japan, where they do these things that I proposed.
Dude, okay, Canada had a mass shooting not even 5 months ago. Look it up. I can't remember. The guy killed more than 5 or 4 people.
Oh, wow, he killed more than 4 people? That's crazy.
It's still a mass shooting. It's still a mass shooting.
Do you want me to look up how many mass shootings we've had in the United States? This year or last year? Because, buddy, I'll tell you what. It's more than 1. So in your evidence of gun control doesn't work is something happened one time is in a place with gun control? That's wild to me.
Okay.
Also, we also talked about earlier how Canada, a lot of the gun violence that's perpetrated there is done by guns smuggled from America.
I'm gonna have to.
They're illegally smuggled. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But
Okay.
I lose my point again. So.
It's again. We got sidetracked on gun control again, but it seems like whatever you got to do your research. That's fine. We can leave it there. Again, let's get back to the First Amendment and how it's spitting in the face of soldiers that I peacefully protest.
Not the First Amendment, the flag.
Well, burning the flag is protected by the First Amendment constitutionally. And the reason I support it is because, again, it doesn't harm anybody. I don't support your interpretation of the Second Amendment because it seems to lead to unnecessary harm and suffering. Burning a flag does not lead to unnecessary harm and suffering, or at least I've never seen that demonstrated or borne out in any data.
I mean, if there's been plenty of cases of people burning the flag, and a patriot comes and kick their ass, or at least
Okay,
takes a flag away from them. At
so it
least.
seems like snowflakes who get their feelings hurt because someone burnt a flag are causing violence. So we shouldn't burn flags so people who are emotionally unstable can feel okay. It seems to be what we're getting at. I
I mean,
disagree. Fuck
when you're
those
burning
people.
the flag, aren't you calling just for a reaction? You're begging for a reaction from somebody.
I mean, sure, I guess, maybe. It's a protest. Protests are generally done to protest something, to garner attention and sympathy,
Yeah, but
and
who protests the American flag? Come on.
well, again, it's
Why do you got to bring the
symbolic.
American flag in it? How's it symbolic?
It's symbolic of
You're,
America
you're
and its
spitting,
institutions.
yeah, you're spitting on a country that allows you the freedom to do that. You're just shitting on. You're
Yeah.
shitting on your.
Fuck
You're
this
shitting on your
country
feet.
sometimes. Are you kidding me? We have some stupid fucking shit going on in this country. And sometimes I want to say, hey, America, stop doing stupid shit. I want to love this country. Do smart shit. And you know what? Part of that protest might be burning a flag to be like, hey, this is me saying, fuck you. Get shit fixed.
To the people who burn flags, I would love to ask them, if you fucking hate it here, why don't you just move? Go to Canada, go to Mexico, go to Mexico,
Why?
man.
I'll tell you why, bud. Because I'm an
the
American.
best
I
country.
believe in American values.
Amen.
How would you feel about telling our founding fathers, hey, bro, if you don't like it here, if you don't like the English, just fucking go somewhere else. Spain and France are open. Why are you crying here in the colonies, dude? If you don't like the tea tax, just get the fuck out, dog. I wouldn't tell the founders
That was
that
unfair.
because I'm an American.
That was unfair.
It's unfair. So it's unfair to
No,
tell somebody to leave
the
if they don't
tax.
like something?
The tax.
Can we not pretend that I can't think of unfair things that the U.S. government has done that I would want to protest or anyone would want to protest?
Sure. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, well, if I can think of something to justly protest that's unfair, it's fair for me to burn the flag in that case, right? By your own admission?
Yeah, of course.
So,
I don't. It's perfectly your right to burn the flag. Shit.
so are you walking that back too? Now it's cool to burn the flag?
Okay, you must have misunderstood me.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
clarify.
I'm saying you have the absolute right to burn the flag,
Hell yeah.
but there's nothing from me personally. Okay, from just a person like me. I'm not. It's not like I'm gonna do something about it because I look up to that certain object as a symbol, and if you disrespect or vandalize that symbol, which I look up to dearly, you're gonna get a reaction from me, or to other people. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
That's fair,
I'm
but
like,
that description
you-
doesn't exactly put you in a place of sounding sane or rational. If I find somebody who hyperfixates on like dragon dildos, for instance, and they worship it, and I walk around, I kick their dragon dildo over, and they want to like attack me, I mean, sure, they idolize that, but doesn't it seem a little weird to you that you want to like
no,
hyper
because you know why?
focus and
You know why?
Yeah, why?
Every time I see these fuckers burn my flag is either Antifa or just some other masked idiot.
Dude, if you want to talk about Antifa, I'm down too. But we should get past the burning flag thing first.
Yes, I'm down for Antifa, but let's get back to what I was saying. The only time I ever see those fuckers burn my flag is either Antifa or some masked asshole that has no group or whatever just burn the flag. And I bet they don't know what the fuck they're doing there. They just burn the flag for no fucking reason. They don't care.
If
They
you
don't
want
give a
me,
shit what they're there to do.
if you want me to, I'll go ahead and order a flag online and burn it, and I'll send you the clip.
Hell no. I mean, shit, if you want to buy that flag and send it to me, I'll be grateful.
Do you want to burn it with me? We can do it together.
I'm gonna hang it high above my house, my dude.
Okay, so burning the flag, it's all right. You just idolize the flag,
Right.
so people shouldn't hurt what you idolize.
I don't idolize it. I find it. as my. It's something I hold passion. It's something I'm very passionate about. Okay, that's what I'll say.
Just because
very
somebody's
passionate
passionate about something means that I shouldn't fuck with it, even if it doesn't harm them.
No.
So if I'm
I'll
really
say more
passionate
than
about
passionate about it.
trees, should nobody cut them down?
Could you repeat that?
So if I'm really passionate about trees, would it be fair to say that no one should cut down trees because I'm passionate about them?
No, what, dude? Obviously, I'm more than passionate about the American flag. That's just the word I'm using right now.
That's
because I can't
creepy,
think of,
dude.
Because I can't think of a better word than passionate.
Dude, I don't know why you care so much about objects. I care about people. I care about people living in this country. I don't care about polyester.
Dude,
I really don't.
I mean,
I don't give a shit.
when it comes, okay, yeah, I was gonna say that, yeah, man.
Okay.
You know, that's your right. If you want to burn the flag, shit, I don't
Hell
care.
yeah, dude.
But
I'm
like,
gonna do
it's
it.
like if I'm in public, and I see you doing that shit, you're gonna get interference with me.
All right, I'm gonna
That's
swaddle
what
my
I'm saying.
sweet naked body in it, and then I'm gonna go have gay sex in it, and then burn it. It's gonna be sick. All right.
That is a disturbing mental image I never want to see. But thank you.
All right. So do you want to move on to the next topic?
Yes.
We can talk about Antifa, so Zerns can get upset and leave.
Yes.
Zerns, feel
think
free to rage
Antifa
out in the
is a
chat, and I'll try and
terrorist
respond to you too.
organization.
Oh, well, you're wrong. No, maybe.
Ooh. Tell me how am I wrong?
And even if they were a terrorist organization, I would agree with what they're doing, generally speaking, or at least the feeling behind it.
But they are a terrorist organization.
Who?
Antifa.
Okay. Who founded it? Who should I be looking at?
Who founded Antifa?
Yeah. Who's the?
Honestly, I don't know who. I don't
That's
know
fine.
if they have a leader, a fucking god they look up to. I don't know if they
Okay.
just made a boy band and I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm saying, whoever considers themselves Antifa and they're out there, marching all in black, causing terror and shit, they're terrorists. That's a definition of a fucking terrorist, my guy. Look up the
No,
definition
couple
of
things.
terrorist.
Couple things, real quick.
Yes.
Yes. So we don't have a founder for Antifa. That's fine. Who can I call? Who's like the manager or the CEO or who can I get in touch with? Who's like the leader
Of Antifa.
Yeah. Or like the general manager if I want to carry
I have
it
no
up.
idea. I'm assuming they run like anonymous, but they're not anonymous at all.
Well, that's what Black Bloc's for. But okay, so if they don't have leaders, okay, can I just get a registry of their members so I know who's a terrorist, please?
I mean, sure, if you want to, ask them.
They don't have. Who's them? Who do I go to? They don't have a leader or a general manager. Who do I talk to if I want to get the registry?
They always hide their faces and never talk.
What
like
website
fucking
do I
cowards.
go to? So, do you see the problem of an organization that you don't know anything about or we can't look
Do
at
you
as an
not think they
organization?
don't talk to each other? Their own comrades that they call them? You think they're going to talk to us fascists and fucking Nazis? You think they're going to talk to us? Which
Do
they
you
never
think-
fucking talk to?
Do you think everybody who considers themselves an anti-fascist around the world, like, is in a text chat?
No.
Oh, okay.
In the U.S. We're talking about the U.S.
Are they in
now.
a text chat? Oh, no, that's fine. Antifa's all around the world, to be clear. But, okay, we'll just talk
Okay.
about the U.S. I'm fine with that.
Antifa. I mean, shit. If you identify yourself as an anti-fascist,
Mhm.
the
What's wrong with being
Antifa-
an anti-fascist, dude?
nothing. At
Oh,
all. But
okay.
these people, they are the fascists themselves. They are. They cause terrors. They cause damage. They hurt people. They silence people. They block people from entering buildings whenever a public figure is speaking.
Oh my
They
god,
do
they
so
block
many
people
things.
from entering buildings? Fucking
And
terrorists.
did you ignore the? I know. Did you ignore the rest of the things I just said? I know.
Go ahead and repeat them if you want.
I said they made threats. They
Threats to what?
threats to an ICE facility, which one
They threatened an ICE
Antifa-
facility? Okay.
Yes, let me get to it. One Antifa member, it was in the news and everything. He
Just be
tried
careful.
to
There's
throw.
no members. There's no members to Antifa. People can self-identify, but
Oh,
Antifa
please,
is a
come on.
movement, is an ideology. It doesn't have members or a registry or a manager or a leader or a CEO. People
All right,
can
fine, fine, fine.
self-identify, but
Fine, let's go with that.
so somebody who
But
called
there was
themselves Antifa.
right. There was this one dude, elderly dude, in his 60s, identifying as Antifa. He
Okay.
goes to an ICE facility. He throws homemade bombs over the facility, and he has a rifle with him. I don't know which exact rifle, and the police shot him dead. I would say that's a terrorist act right there,
Okay.
and they've done, and just the Antifa and protests.
So he
when they're marching,
threw.
they do.
Wasn't it like fire stuff? Pretty more like Molotov. So like he threw like fire at an ice thing, and they killed him.
I
Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think it was just Molotovs. They said
Okay.
it was like, I, I think they said it was high grade explosive shit. I'm not sure.
How
I
many
would have to
people
read
did
that
he?
again.
How many people did he kill?
Does it fucking matter? He
Yeah.
didn't kill anybody, but does
It
it
does.
matter?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, why?
Well, because things like the KKK have been directly linked to deaths and are not a terrorist organization. And they are an actual organization. They have a member registry. They have leaders. They're very public. They're an actual organization that has actually been
Dude,
linked to
I
murder.
cannot remember one time in my lifetime with the KKK showing up in public or in any social media. I
They
can't
do
remember
all the
last time
time, and
KKK did that.
you can look up the time. It was, I think it was pretty recently in the last 6 months, where there was a KKK rally in Portland that was scheduled, and Antifa said, "Hey, do it," and then it didn't happen. They canceled it.
Wasn't that Charlottesville?
No, that wasn't Charlottesville.
Or
This was in
no,
Oregon.
no,
No, they did
yeah,
Charlottesville, and they killed
or
somebody there too, but that wasn't specifically the KKK. That was another alt-right group that's not a terrorist organization, even though they killed somebody there. A protester, actually, a peaceful protester. So,
yeah, with the guy in the car, yeah.
what's okay? So Antifa, an anti-fascist,
Uh-huh.
had a bomb that they threw at an ICE facility, and they died.
Yes,
Okay,
by either the security at the facility or police.
is that the worst we have?
By far,
Oh, okay.
because
So the best thing they
Antifa
have
done
is
a lot
throwing.
of so many shit and protests and all.
Okay, so real quick to get back to the bomb thing,
Uh-huh.
throwing a bomb at a building, or I guess throwing a bomb at a building, is the worst thing Antifa's done, and that's a terrorist organization to you? That's wild.
Yeah, how is that not a terrorist group or organization? How do you not see that?
Well, do you know what terrorism is?
Do you know what terrorist is?
Yeah, pretty much somebody who perpetrates terrorism, I would assume. Do you know what, like, the point of terrorism is?
The point of terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
No, please tell me.
So essentially, it's to scare as many people as possible, right? So
Is this the exact definition of the terrorist?
here, I'll give you the exact definition. How about that? And then we'll be all good,
Uh,
right?
Of terrorist. Just to be clear, terrorist, not terrorism. Terrorist.
Well, I don't think they're that far apart. A person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in pursuit of political aims.
Which is Antifa.
No.
Okay,
Well,
I
maybe.
I encourage you, to go online on YouTube.
So
to look
Antifa
up,
could have a terrorist.
Antifa protests. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Antifa protests. Very familiar.
And who are the ones that are
Very
peaceful
familiar.
and not violent?
A lot of people, tons of people are peaceful and nonviolent.
Not Antifa. Not
There are plenty of Antifa who are peaceful and nonviolent.
Oh, really?
Again, Antifa is not an
So
organization like the
why do
KKK. There
they
is no
hide their
membership.
faces and dress in black like little bitches?
Firstly, not all anti-fascists do that. But why a lot of people wear
I'm saying
black...
Antifa, okay?
Yeah.
Antifa and anti-fascist different, in my opinion.
No, they're not. Antifa is literally a shorthand for anti-fascist. It's not a group.
Yeah, I know that. But I'm saying
That's all it means is anti-fascist. That's all it means. So somebody who says they're anti-fascist and dresses in black is just as anti-fascist as an anti-fascist who stands there peacefully. They're both anti-fascist, just one's a bad anti-fascist in your view and one's an okay anti-fascist. Right?
No. Not once have I seen a MAGA supporter, go over to the Antifa side and start antagonizing them. Each and every clip I watch, I see Antifa going to MAGA rallies, which they have no fucking business part, and saying, Nazi scum, fucking white supremacists. They blame us for being Nazis, and they don't know jack shit about us.
Well, it's not so much about being Nazis as it is being fascist, and there is quite a bit to support the idea that supporting Trump supports fascism. Right?
I'm gonna have a migraine at this young age.
So, what do you think fascism is, generally speaking? Or what is your view of fascism? What do you think fascism is? Or what do you think its main points are that people are concerned with?
I don't know the exact definition, but the way I think it looks is, for example, when if you were to speak at a public event, and I were to get all my friends and block the doorway and say, no, this guy, he's a Nazi, he spreads hateful truth and all. That's fascism to me.
Okay.
I think that's correct. Is that fascism?
No, not at all. Right, so you completely not understanding fascism might lead to being against anti-fascists. I could understand that.
So what's fascism?
Essentially, fascism is done at a state level, and it's usually an authoritarian
position.
What do you mean
state level?
So it's done by a governing body, not individuals. You can have individual fascists, but they perpetuate a system of fascism. Yeah. So, for instance, if fascism has tenets, if we had a fascist government, it would be doing certain things to perpetuate fascism, which is defined by a lot of things, but keyly the two most important are hyper-nationalism and ethnic nationalism, which are both things, which is something that you have advocated for here and is something that Trump advocates for all the time. And both are useless and bad. So hyper-nationalism, something that's hyper-nationalist would be being obsessed with a flag, for instance, and be willing to fight or attack people for disrespecting your country. That kind of thing could be fascist. Ethno-nationalism, the hyper-concern with oh man, I hope we don't have any more Mexicans or Browns. We need to protect the white people because America's for the white people, or we should... that kind of thing.
I don't know who thinks that besides racist.
Well, I mean, Trump, right?
No, he does not think that at all.
Trump doesn't think what? That he's
not a racist.
Trump's not a racist? Are you sure about that? Is that a hill you're willing
I'm
to die?
sure.
What do you think a racist is?
Well, someone who hates the other skin color, of course.
It just hates it? Can we think of things that are racist that aren't hateful?
Like the KK, they think that they should be the only race in the whole universe or some shit. I think, right? I think that's
well,
racism.
It depends. They have Firstly, I have to make a small aside. Firstly, no, the KKK doesn't all believe that. There are separatists, and there are oh God, not separatists. There's separatists, and then there's another one. Not all people, not all the KKK thinks the exact same way. But why? How about this? Here's a question. Why would the KKK support Donald Trump for president? And why would David Duke, the leader of the KKK, praise Trump after he's in office for accomplishing the goals of the KKK?
Okay.
Why would they support that? If he's not a racist.
Why would the KKK support Trump?
Yeah. Why would the leader of the KKK?
Okay. It's so obvious.
Okay.
For one, it's because they like the wall idea, which I personally love the wall idea.
We'll talk about that too.
they support his choice about the wall. Is I assume that's the main thing.
So why would they support the wall?
To keep the Mexicans out.
Why would you want to
Well,
keep the
illegal.
Mexicans out?
Let me make that clear. Illegal Mexicans out.
Well, if Trump likes legal Mexicans so much, why would he why would he vastly reduce the number of visas and green cards we're granting to people of Mexican citizenship or people trying to immigrate here legally? We cut the number by half, then half again.
He wants people to come through the checkpoint. He doesn't want you to come across the fence or wall illegally. He wants you to come through the checkpoint with border control so you can do all... I don't know how the process goes when you're at the checkpoint because I've never been on one, but he wants you to come through the checkpoint, not over the wall.
Okay, A, that is not how you immigrate to the United States, which is what we're talking about. Right? I guess that's how you visit, but you have to be a documented citizen or a documented immigrant to be able to pass through those checkpoints.
Yeah, I'm not sure the whole process of getting a green card.
Okay,
all that is.
So do you think the KKK it doesn't like people crossing where they're not supposed to? Do you think that's the KKK's big fight? You think the KKK is that concerned with that?
You think I know these answers, my guy?
I don't know. You're the one trying to defend them.
Defend them?
Well, you're the one trying to defend that Donald Trump's not a racist and the KKK supporting him and saying that Donald Trump is...
Hold your horses. Do you think Trump is a racist because the KKK supports him?
No. We can never know objectively if someone is a racist. We have to try and find that out for ourselves. We can never truly know what someone's thinking. Trump has a long history of racist action. This is just one thing. I don't know if you find yourself in the
Who doesn't?
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't have a history of literally
racism.
So, like in Trump's building, long before he was president, when he wouldn't rent to like blacks, for instance, I don't have a history of doing that. Right?
Well, I don't know where you got that, but I'm gonna have to do some research again.
Okay, well, Trump's not a racist. I just don't know anything he does. Here, how about this? How about we get back to Mexicans, Trump, and racism? How about the time when Donald Trump said that the federal judge couldn't give him a fair ruling because he had Mexican parents?
What? I need context.
Well, we can look this one up, too. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. It's pretty well known. Essentially, Trump said that he couldn't get a fair ruling from this federal judge because this federal judge had Mexican parents and was involved in La Raza, which was an organization to have like Hispanic and Latino people become lawyers. He said the judge wouldn't give him a fair ruling because he had Mexican parents, even though he was a natural citizen.
I mean, if that's true, then yeah, I guess he's got some, some racism in him. If that's true.
And not only that, in that same interview, he was asked if he would let a Muslim judge rule in his case or could give him a fair ruling, and he also said no. I understand Muslim isn't a race, but I feel like it's relevant here. It's again the hate for brown people.
Why do you think he said no? That makes you think he's racist?
Why? Well, it seems like he has a history. Even if we just look at the presidency, it seems like he has a history of needlessly, unfairly, and inaccurately attacking Muslims and Mexicans. Seems like he has history of that just in the presidency.
Yeah, I've seen some of the remarks he's made about... Well, it's difficult because...
Not to mention, some of Trump's specific rhetoric has been used by actual racists and actual terrorists, like the El Paso shooter, who compared Mexicans to an invasion, which is something that Trump popularized, right?
Oh, God, I forgot about the El Paso shooter.
Dude, don't diss my... Real quick aside. That titty mouse pad, I fucking won from a friend because I had the sickest fucking Fortnite win, dude. I'll tell you. They didn't think I could do it. I bet them a titty mouse pad. They had to send me a titty mouse pad. That's the
Good
win
God.
right there. Sorry, go ahead. Essentially, it seems like Trump has a history of racism just in his presidency, and it seems like that's bad.
I don't find that true.
I mean,
He's
again, the comments about here. So Trump specifically said that he couldn't get a fair ruling in the Trump University case because the federal judge had Mexican parents. That's racist, no? You're making assumptions on somebody because of
I
their
can't-
ancestry? That's a little
It's-
racy, no?
I can't take up your word for it because that just doesn't sound, it doesn't sound
right.
realistic. So I'm gonna have like pull up some clip or article to where he actually says that, so I can
Yep.
get more depth. You know what I mean? More depth about it.
Anybody
But,
in chat who wants to search it, this is the judge's name.
How many is watching, anyways?
It's only 3 people. Don't worry. Nobody likes me, okay?
I'm so famous.
True. All right. So it seems like I would say that this remark at least is racist. Now, this doesn't make Trump a racist. This is just adds to the body of evidence that he may be a racist. The problem is, how many actions do you need someone to take before you can say with, some certainty, okay, this person's probably racist?
Okay. Let's hypothetically say if Trump was racist, right? He was just
Sure.
blown out racist.
Mhm.
I don't know how that would work for the people in the White House. I don't know if they would impeach his ass, but
You don't get impeached for being racist. You get elected president.
okay, but I'm just saying. Let's say hypothetically he's
case,
full blown racist. Everybody knows he's a racist. Hypothetically,
I feel like most everybody does.
okay, but if he were to be doing good in office, I don't think anybody would really care if he was racist.
I mean, that's fine.
If he's doing good for the country, he's doing good for the people.
But he's doing good for people that he likes, specifically white people, right?
What is he doing for me? He hasn't done anything for me.
I agree, he hasn't done much at all. But
Yeah.
so
What has he done for me and my dad? What has he done for me and my mom?
So why would you use the argument if someone's doing good in office, but they're racist? It's fine if you think
No.
Trump hasn't done anything.
Well, he's done. He's certainly made remarks. I'm not saying he's hasn't said anything. At least racial.
Okay.
But I'm saying, at least the few racial marks he's made isn't a big deal. People made it a big deal. The social media made
Here's
it
the
a
thing.
big deal.
I prefer my president, especially while in office, to not make racist remarks. Why would we inflame tensions with countries that we're trying to ally
You know what
with?
else I would
We
like?
are allied. What's up?
And I would like a president with balls, and Trump has balls. Okay, he's got balls
to say racist shit that no one cares?
No, he's got balls to do shit like he's got more balls to do more things he did than Obama did. Okay,
I thought you just said Trump hadn't done anything for you. So which is it? He has balls to get shit done, or he hasn't
that doesn't
done
mean
anything?
he hasn't done. Okay, there's like over 300
So he has
million
nuts,
Americans,
but he's not using
and
them?
you think,
What?
huh?
I'm so confused.
My dude.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
Go ahead.
of all 300 million Americans, you think he's gonna get to me anytime soon?
What? Could you? What?
Okay, you said you
So,
said that
he has the
Trump didn't
balls to
support
get
me
shit-
or whatever.
I don't think Trump has done much of good for America, generally speaking. No.
Could I ask why?
I don't think his administration has championed much policy that's been beneficial to the American people. He's passed a few things, but not that his administration has really championed that I think have been pretty good. I think most things that he's done have been harmful and disproportionately affect poor people. And I don't think that's good generally.
Like what?
So, like cutting food stamps programs for people, or like having the tariff war in China that everybody who knows nothing about economics supports, which raises costs of goods, which disproportionately affect poor people. Stuff like that.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
We can
that
talk
seems
about
pretty
them.
fucked up.
Yeah, I know it is fucked up. Did you not hear about the tariffs?
The terrorists.
The tariffs. Sorry, tariffs.
Terrorists.
Yes,
Terrorists.
tariffs. Yeah.
No.
You Trump. Oh my god. Okay. So why do you support Trump? Maybe I should ask that, because if you haven't heard of things like the tariffs, I need to know why you like him.
Mainly the wall.
Okay, so
Yeah,
what's good
to
about
be
the
honest, mainly
wall?
the wall.
Dude, I'm happy to discuss immigration. That's what I'm here for, dude. I love it. All right?
Yeah, let's
So what about the
discuss
wall?
migration. What about what?
So what about the wall do you like?
Oh, I like it that we can make it practically impossible for it to hop over.
So you like the wall because he's going to make it impossible to hop over.
For illegal immigrants bringing their drugs and crime. Yeah.
How do you feel about the fact that his border wall section that was built was sawn through with a $150 power saw bought at Home Depot? Also, how do you feel about the existence of rope and ladders? Also,
Rope
how do
and
you feel
ladder.
about the existence of tunneling? Sorry, that's a gish gallop, but I'm sorry, I got a little triggered there.
Yeah, but you and me have no idea how effective those options are.
No idea how... Yes, we do. The border wall is almost entirely useless. It's crazy ineffective because the majority of illegal immigrants aren't hopping of the border wall. The majority of illegal immigrants are overstaying visas. So the wall does nothing, right?
I don't believe that because
That's a fact. That's
now,
that's an objective fact. Please add that to your research sheet.
okay, that may be, but for as now, I don't think the wall has been fully implemented. There are still bits and pieces where there's just like a bitty little fence. I think.
That doesn't change the fact that the majority of illegal immigrants aren't hopping over the fence or wall. It's that they are overstaying visas. That is where the majority of illegal immigrants are coming from. Not to mention the fact that Mexican immigrants, that's what you're concerned with, their numbers have been declining for like the last decade. People crossing
Okay, but
illegally.
not to mention the fact that they bring their drugs and fucking crimes over the border.
How do you
that
feel
does that over the border?
How do you feel about the fact that we have evidence that legal and illegal immigrants commit less crime per capita than U.S. citizens?
Continue.
How does it feel that from all the data we currently have, that illegal immigrants commit less crime per capita than U.S. citizens?
Well, I would love to see the information on that because if you were showing me that,
Yeah,
I
sure.
believe you.
The Bureau of Justice Statistics has this too. This is literally the crime of the crime brought in by immigrants is one of the best research things we have. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. But like I said, I mostly support him in the beginning, but just because of the wall.
Okay, well, you support him because of the wall, but the wall is not effective. It doesn't keep illegal immigrants out. It doesn't keep out crime. It doesn't keep out drugs. It doesn't keep out sex trafficking. What the fuck is the
not
point?
yet. Not yet because it hasn't been fully implemented.
You understand the majority of these things comes through port of entry? You know that thing you wanted people to go through? Right?
Port of entry.
Yeah, port of
entry.
entry.
Yeah, that always happens. Of course it does.
Yeah. So, if the majority of drugs are coming through the port of entry now,
it's like you.
Why
it's like
would
you
they...
saying. It's like you saying about the registrations on guns, right? It would lower the cost of violence and death. That's like my way of thinking with the wall. It would lower the drugs and the crime.
But it doesn't objectively because illegal immigrants
exactly.
commit less crime per capita than U.S. citizens. Okay, how about this? How about we talk about drugs for a second? What if we just make all drugs legal? And then we don't have the
Uh-huh.
problem with drugs coming over the border. We don't have the problem with gang violence to control drugs. What if we just make all drugs legal?
That doesn't seem like a good idea, though.
Why? You eliminate... If you're worried about drugs coming into the country, they'll stop coming into the country, right? Also,
Maybe.
illegal immigration will slow substantially because one of the reasons Mexico is so fucked because of the American drug trade. Or the American...
drug trade.
I guess, yeah, literally, to get illegal drugs here. That's part of the reason Mexico's so fucked with cartels, is because of what we've done in the market we have created for illegal drugs.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Okay, so we know illegal immigrants commit less crime than Americans per capita. You
Maybe.
don't really... No, that's a fact.
I'll take your word for it.
Very easy thing to research. Please do. Add it to your list.
I will do after.
So, and then the drugs you're worried about coming in. I have a way to stop the drugs coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How about this? Why don't we just make it much, much easier to immigrate here from Mexico?
But that would be, what's the word? Shit. That would be just increasing our population just by the numbers.
Okay. What's wrong with increasing our population?
Well, and there are consequences to that. When you get a population too damn high, you ain't gonna have enough mouths to feed, etc., etc.
You do have enough mouths to feed because an increase in labor, which is pretty much what immigration is, increasing your labor also increases demand, but it also increases supply because you have a pool of labor you need to feed. So that pool of labor can also work to produce food and goods. Right?
Yeah, what's your point?
So, my point is, by bringing in more people, we can grow our economy. And I don't know, we could cut off a lot of the issues you seem to have with Mexico that are arbitrary.
If you're gonna just let those people come in just daily with green cards and all, and that population keeps growing, you ain't gonna expect any problems whatsoever.
I mean, there'll be some, but we'll address them when they happen. Right now I'm taking the stance of like every economist. I'm saying that, hey, you know what? More immigrants is cool because we can grow our economy, we can raise our standard of living for our poorest people. We can generally have a better country because we
how about we
increase
focus our people here and not their people?
They would be our people too, right? Why don't we
Not
make life
now they
better
are. How about we focus on our people, our homeless, our veterans, our everything, and not them, instead of wasting all of our resources on them?
We can do multiple things at the same time. We can help our homeless population while
the American people be cared for first.
What do you mean? I'm talking about caring for the American people by expanding our economy and helping people at the bottom by making goods cheaper by bringing in more labor. Bringing in more labor makes goods cheaper. Bringing in more labor makes goods cheaper. It increases the pie for everybody. It brings up your bottom. It's easier for your poorest citizens to afford luxury goods and to afford basic necessities. Because they're cheaper. That raises their quality of life. Why would I not raise their quality of life? If
I have no problem with that, but
well, that's what it would be doing.
I'm sure we can do that with another way instead of letting all those people in.
But why not just let them in? What's the problem? If it solves this problem, what's the problem with letting them in? Please be candid. No one knows what you look like. Give me your realist take. What's the problem with letting people in? If it benefits people, what's the problem?
I have no problem benefiting with people, but
hell yeah, dude.
I'm sure we can find some other way besides letting.
Why can't we do this?
Those people in.
Why not just let them in? Please, why not?
Okay. So you usually want to let them in just because they're gonna make our economy better.
I mean, that's a probably the biggest reason. Yeah.
Okay, so you think if we do that like right now in the midst of this COVID and these riots, do you think that would, at least help out a bit or what? What do you think?
I mean, I don't think the riots are going to matter. We'd probably implement it over the course of like 6 to 8
I know,
months. The
I'm just
COVID
saying
would
like with all
probably
the
still
chaos,
exist.
I'm sure, people are more interested in, than something else besides, helping a few Mexicans.
Well, it's not about just helping a few Mexicans. It's about helping Americans and
I mean Mexicans.
getting more Americans. So bringing in people who...
I don't want more Mexican. I don't want more American. Well, not in a way of bringing others from other
Careful.
countries. Okay.
Again,
not
why
like
not bring
that,
them in? Okay, what are the bad things about bringing people in legally? I'm saying make it much easier for them to legally immigrate. We can grow our tech. Why? Why can't we do this?
Well, I'm not saying that you can't.
And here's another thing for you to
And?
latch onto, because you can't latch onto the other one. I'm also
Okay.
for granting amnesty to the like 11 to 13 million illegal here right now. Right
You're doing
now.
what?
Grant amnesty, make them full citizens. Because it grows our tax base and we can better track them. We might as well collect all of the taxes instead of just most of them. So I support amnesty for the people that are here now and a much easier path to legally immigrate here. What are the problems with this?
Shit, I'm gonna have to get. I'm gonna personally have to get educated on that. More on that economy bullshit to figure out what problems and what solutions there is. Because I can't give a definite answer for you right now.
That's fine. I don't need a definite answer. So at least with the information you have now, you would be okay with letting those people in.
I would not be okay, but I would not care less.
Here's the
not
problem.
Care less, just
if
pay no attention.
Okay, so that's fine then. If you wouldn't care if those people came in with your current information, okay, that's fine. You got anything else that you want to talk about? So far we have guns, and we've talked about Antifa a little bit, burning the flag, a little First Amendment. If you want, we can go back. We can go back to fascism and how Trump's a fascist.
How about cops? What about police force?
What about them? What about them?
Well, you want to talk about them?
Police accountability is extremely important. Probably the best thing we could do right now is set up independent councils to investigate wrongdoing.
Councils.
Generally speaking, I don't have a problem with the police. I have a problem with the lack of police accountability. Although I think in Minneapolis, burning down that police station was based in epic.
You think it was epic?
Oh yeah, based and epic. Hell yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
But that you said about the counseling thing. What was it? Or no?
So I think one of the best things we could do right now for police is set up independent councils to investigate any wrongdoing.
Independent councils.
So
explain
for instance,
that. What does that mean?
Yeah. So for instance, if a police has a complaint filed against them, there's a third independent party who reviews the case and decides whether
would that be government officials? Would that be civilians?
Probably, yeah. It could
government
be a mix
officials?
of both, realistically.
Mix of both.
With proper training in place, yeah.
Okay, well, continue, please.
Yeah, no, that's it. And set up a thing that can independently determine whether the police did something wrong.
So, basically, like being in court in front of a jury.
Yeah, you can think of it like that, essentially.
Yeah, I guess that would be something nice to look into. I don't see a problem with it.
Sick. Okay. Anything else? Okay. And their use of force right now is fucked. Hashtag defund the police.
Dude, I mean, yeah, the policing right now is just fucked, but I wouldn't say defund the police. I think defunding the police would be the worst decision ever.
Why? And what do you think defund the police means generally when we're talking about it from a policy perspective? Defund,
well, to me, it's taken away some of the money that the police force or department gets in
Yeah.
order, to get supplies, to get, weapons, et cetera, good shit, good toys, big guns. You know what I mean?
Why do they need
And
those things?
well, let me finish my point.
Okay.
And they take a part, well, somebody, I don't know who, they take that some money, a good portion of it, and say, hey, that's ours now. I don't know what they do with it. And then when they do that, after the police have like no motive to work or protect or to serve whatsoever, like they don't have uh, the essentials they need, if you will. And it'll just be chaos, if the police force quits and they don't have any more funding, they don't get new stuff, upgrades, whatever. They don't stay in business because they ain't getting paid enough. And they're gonna, quit. There's gonna be anarchy in the streets. There ain't gonna be no, law and order. It's just gonna be fucking anarchy. And I don't want to stay at home with my gun under my pillow in case someone breaks in my home because there ain't no police force behind.
Sounds like you do. That's what you were waiting for. But defund the
I ain't
police.
waiting for Google. I ain't waiting for that.
I mean, they could always do a bake sale, right?
Bake sale.
Yeah.
What's that? What do you mean?
Never mind. So I think
Dude.
the misunderstanding is defund the police doesn't mean disband the police. It doesn't mean give them like 3 horses, a stick, and $20 to like police a city with, right? All it means is police probably shouldn't have as much money as they currently do because it's leading to
Oh, why not?
it's leading to the militarization of the police. Well, do you know that
dude.
crime has been decreasing for like the last 20, 30 years?
I wonder why.
All violent crime has been decreasing for like over the last 20 years. All of it.
I wonder why. Who might have prevent
But
that?
here's the problem. If all the
Well, who
crime is
prevent that though?
What?
Who prevent all the violence?
Nobody
Violence.
If you're trying to insinuate that the police prevent violence, I think you're firmly mistaken in what police do.
You think they use violence?
Do you,
You know,
It's not Minority Report. Usually the police respond after violence has occurred, right?
so are you saying that cops are on the scene after violence has broken out, or are you saying cops are using violence?
No, what I'm saying is the police are generally, or at least should be, reactionary. They react to things that have happened, right? Broken
Like
windows
any
policing
human
doesn't
being would?
work, right?
Wait, what did you say? Repeat, please.
Broken windows policing does not work.
Broken windows policing does not work.
Essentially,
breaking windows.
Never mind. Move past it. It seems like in communities where it seems like in communities where we're not super heavily policing everything for no reason, things are pretty okay. If the police are there to respond to violent situations, things seem pretty okay. It seems like it would be a good idea to take some of the funding that police get and spend it on social workers to help people with mental health issues or to respond to things like domestic violence.
Hold up. When you say everything is okay, do you mean like general public safety or something?
What I mean is when we're not doing broken windows policing, when we're just when we're being reactionary to fairly decent crimes, not like smoking weed or like going too fast, like 5 miles over the speed limit. When we're not doing these things in a community, it seems like they're generally okay. There isn't a huge increase in violent crime. If we pull the police back a little bit, it seems like communities do pretty fine.
I'm not getting your point here at all.
So right now, we over-police a lot of areas. We shouldn't do that.
Over police? What do you mean, like what?
That's what broken windows policing generally refers to.
Okay, I don't know what that means. What does broken windows policing mean?
Essentially, what you're doing is you're sending police there to milk out all the violations they can possibly find. Essentially, that's what you're doing with broken windows policing.
Oh,
So if I put more
okay.
police in a neighborhood and I have them catching a lot of small things or small crimes and putting people away for them, you're hurting that community substantially.
Uh, so like,
We shouldn't be fucking people over for like drug charges. We shouldn't be fucking people over for like disturbing the peace. These are
okay,
things
so what?
we
So
don't
if
need
I were to
heavy
be
policing
playing
for.
heavy metal rock at 12 p.m. while you're trying to sleep and go to your work job at like 5 o'clock in the morning, you wouldn't want to call the police?
Well, even if I called the police, the difference is the police probably wouldn't have to arrest me or give me a ticket, likely,
Well,
right?
okay, let's say in some case they would have to give you a ticket, like a driving, they pull you over for your broken taillight. You think that would be, unnecessary to give you a ticket?
It it depends.
What do you mean
Sometimes it could
depends?
be.
It's a broken taillight.
A broken taillight is different from than arresting somebody for like a minor drug charge or for
Okay, no,
disturbing the
but
peace, right?
I'm asking you,
So
in this
a
particular
taillight
situation,
affects safety. Smoking weed and like playing loud music sometimes do not affect safety, right?
yeah,
And I'm talking about
often
specifically
cops
minor
don't,
drug
they don't
charges
care.
that people get locked up for. Well, they should
You
fucking
know,
care, or we should get social workers that do care that can work on these things better,
that they care
right?
about people smoking weed.
Cops should not care about people smoking weed, but they
Yeah,
do.
they don't.
They do.
Half of the time they don't.
No, they do quite a bit, especially in black communities.
Well, I'm not. I would like to send you a video. Prove me
Okay.
wrong, because that's not true. But there's been
No,
many.
that is a fact. That's another one of those fun little things that we have a ton of data for, that if it literally you do any research at all, you would know that yeah, minority communities are disproportionately policed. Broken
Tell me, you
windows
don't get your
policing,
news and facts from news articles, do you? Or like
depends
just
on
like news headlines, or
from news headlines, no.
okay, just check it. No offense.
Ideally, if I can find some sort of something to evidence a point, I like that. There's some news organizations I follow, particularly Reuters. I'm a big fan of.
Like, what do you want to go to straight to the source though?
Well, for this source about how we affect things, you could literally just look at FBI statistics. And you can look at sociologists' work if you aren't comfortable looking at that data.
No, you're probably right. I can do that. But
Yeah. If you're black, you're way more likely to be arrested for smoking pot, even though blacks and whites do it at like the same rate. So like that's a thing. It seems like cops don't care as much when people are white, or literally there's this goes back into the whole like white privilege thing, and yes, we actually have evidence for it, especially in the justice system, that if we take two people who did something and we with the same number of priors,
uh-huh.
the black person is going to get a harsher sentence.
I am not going to believe that, because
That's fine. Research it.
I will. But for the meantime, I'm not going to believe that, because I don't think that's true. Because
That's fine. Any of the stuff you want
I
to
believe we're
research, I'm
all
happy.
created equally. We're all,
You should all be
together.
policed equally. Amen, brother.
Police equally, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want things to
Well,
be policed
depending
equally.
depending on the situation,
No, I think we should police equally.
I
Disproportionately policing communities has led to tons of issues. We're perpetuating a horrible cycle. Look to any sociologist ever for this. Or any criminologist ever for this.
maybe I'll maybe do that.
Again, you're welcome to research anything I've mentioned here. The VOD's going to be up. Feel free to research any of this, and I'm happy to hop back on a call with you anytime to discuss any of it.
Oh yeah, anytime. Are you on Twitch or something? YouTube?
Yeah, sure. I'll link you a thing when we're done here.
Like, do you stream on Twitch or something? Or?
Yeah, I stream on Twitch. I just started streaming on Twitch, yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. But this police thing, the funding thing, we may not come to a conclusion because we both have different
No,
opinions.
all it is crime has been decreasing for 30 years.
Yeah.
Police funding has like just increased proportionally
Good.
to GDP. No.
Good.
No. What?
Yeah.
No.
Why do you
So
not? Why
think
do you
about
think
it like
it's not
this. Let's say I have 100 hungry people, right?
good? Uh huh.
Well, if every year I have less hungry people, I don't need to keep buying more bread. If I can feed 100 hungry people with 100 loaves of
Okay.
bread, there's no reason that when I have 20 hungry people, I need 400 loaves of bread. That makes no sense.
Okay, so let me see if I understand you.
Hmm.
Do you want the police departments that have too much money to give away their money, a portion
No,
of the money,
not to give it
something to
away.
somebody?
I don't think the police should decide where it goes. I think what we need to do is we need to hire, specifically right now, more social workers, and we need to have better police training. That's where we can start to spend the money. We can see how that works for
I
a little bit.
mean, I agree on better training, but not social workers.
We
I
need
don't
social
see-
workers. Police are not, and you can literally look at police chiefs, and they'll tell you, cops are not trained to handle everything. We live in a country where pretty much you call the police for everything. Social workers are
Yeah.
far more effective at handling mental health and things like that. Or
Yeah. If you're gonna deal, okay, you may have not been cops, or you don't know what these cops deal, what these type of people they deal with.
I know
They
they're
deal with
unprepared
crack,
to
they
deal
deal
with
with
some of those
mental-
things.
Yeah.
Why
if
would
you
a
think
police
that
officer?
the cops, hold up, bro. If you think the cops are gonna take their time, their sweet time, and call up a social worker, or whatever, and wait 15 minutes, if the mental guy wants to, wait 15 minutes, he ain't gonna go on some rant and try to stab somebody or maybe hurt somebody possibly. Let's assume he stays for 15 minutes and the social worker gets there. What do you think the social worker is going to do? You think he's going to talk, she or he's going to talk to that person on mic? You think she's going to, he or she going to approach the said person, or what?
They
You
can do
think
a
you
lot
want
of
the-
things. They can do tons of
Okay, like
things.
what?
And
Like what?
well, so for instance, let's say we have somebody having a mental health episode and they're suicidal, right? They're talking about killing themselves. Instead of calling the police, somebody with a gun and hardly any training isn't going to be able to talk that person down effectively, right? This goes all the way back to I like
Hold up.
people to be
Are you-
trained for what they're trying to do.
Do you believe that the officers can't talk people from a certain, whenever they're in a distressing mood?
They're not
You know,
trained to.
they're not trained to?
No, not specifically.
Okay,
If you want to make police social workers, I guess we can do that too. That's fine.
So
but that's
what
just
about all
creating
those
social
videos
workers.
of cops? What about all those videos of cops talking suicide people down from bridges and ledges?
Cool. How about all the times where police show up and the person fucking kills themselves?
Do you think the cops could have prevented that?
Do I think the cops could have? I don't know. Not as effectively as a social worker.
Even better. Do you think a social worker could prevent that?
With higher success, yeah, generally.
I don't believe that
Somebody
for
who's
one
better
fucking
trained
bit.
to do something is usually better at doing it.
Okay.
So,
okay,
like,
let's-
for instance, no. I'm going to give you an analogy. I'm going to give you an analogy, and then
fine.
you can go.
It's gotta be-
Okay. So, for
it gotta be
instance,
good.
let's say I want to do surgery. I'm going to ask surgeons. Now, you can say, what about all the surgeries that happened with people who weren't trained? And you know what? They happen. That's true. Some are successful. No problems at all. It works sometimes. I'm just saying, I take the surgeon.
Okay. Can I speak now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you're an officer right now. You're going on the call. You get out of your vehicle. It's dark. It's wet. It's musty. You're just tired from a long day of working, right? And you pull up to see some fucking half-naked guy in the middle of the road with some blunt object. You can't tell whether it's a knife or maybe nothing. He has nothing at all. And you, according to the new policies, you got to call up a social worker or whatever that's a mental expert. You call them up. You got to wait however god long, and you just wait there. You got to watch that person. You don't know what that person's gonna do, go, whatever. Okay, there's no telling what. That's what you don't. There's no telling what might happen in that amount of
What
time.
if we just call a social worker instead of calling the police officer? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's really realistic.
It is.
How I don't. Okay, so what you're gonna talk a really unfit, crazy son of a bitch, just and give him to a social worker, and they're gonna talk it out, and they're gonna be happy,
Possibly.
and everything's gonna be jolly and all that good
Like,
shit.
I don't know what you think, like, police officers have a special, like, ability to talk down crazy people because they can shoot them. I don't know what this is, dude.
Okay, they're human beings too. They can talk like a human being. They can encourage. They can enlighten, just like you and me can enlighten and encourage other people. They
And social
different
workers
because
can
they
do
got
that
a badge
too.
and a gun.
Having a badge and a
The
gun
only
does
thing-
not make you better at talking to people.
My guy, like,
It
I'm gonna
doesn't.
go back to my other point. What do you say about all those videos with cops saving people off of bridges and ledges?
What do you
They
say
were
about all the times where police
compassionate.
show up and people get fucking, like, kill themselves? What do you say about those people? Or
That's
what
on
if-
them, not on
what
the
if
fucking-
we-
That's on them, not the cops. That's on
So,
them.
when good things happen, we can thank the cops, but when bad things happen, oh, they just
No,
happen.
no. You gotta be specific than that. You can't just say good things, that, bad things, that.
Okay, so when somebody doesn't kill themselves and the police were there, it's a good thing. And the police are awesome. But when the police do show up and the person does kill themselves,
Well,
you know, it just happens.
the
shit happens.
police they don't get bragging rights because the guy didn't decide to kill himself. They don't get they don't get recognition at all. They were just on scene. They arrested the guy.
I don't
He
want
didn't
people to
kill
get
himself, which is good.
recognition. That's not why you should get into doing that job.
Yeah, I'm saying they don't get recognition whenever that happens. They don't get like any attention whenever that type of situation happens.
They shouldn't get
Well, kind of.
attention if they talk somebody down. That's just doing their fucking job.
Okay, you
It seemed-
know they have body cams, right? They have body cams.
Some,
That
yeah.
shit's, and the police departments make that public. They don't do it for fame or attention. They do that that they show what goes on daily when they're over on their job.
What does fame and
ain't
attention
sunshine
have to
and
do with any
rainbows,
of
my
this
guy.
shit?
Huh?
What does fame and attention have to do with any of this? Why'd you bring that up? What's the point?
Fame or attention?
Yeah, you brought up fame and attention. Why was the
Yeah,
point
I'm
of
telling
bringing
you-
that up?
I'm telling you, they don't do for fame or attention.
Talk people down from suicide? Neither do social workers. How's this an argument against social workers?
You said something about the fucking thing. Can't remember. This is painfully hurting me.
True.
I'm not saying that cops get attention or fame. But
Okay.
some cases they do whenever they save a dog or save a cat from the tree, whatever, etc.
Okay.
But I'm not saying when they go on a scene with a guy that plans to kill himself or does some horrific thing, but they're having a standoff. So the guy later surrenders. The cops arrest him, and of course, media, the news is going to be on scene. Okay. And they ain't the
How are the
ones-
news able to get there when a social worker can't? What the fuck is that about?
Well, I'm pretty sure they listen to the scanners because
Oh.
that's what they're always doing.
Maybe we should give social workers scanners so they can get there as fast as the news.
I would love to see a social worker actually do that.
How do you... Okay, so... How about in places that are a little more rural and in like huge major cities,
Rural.
Yeah, so places with less people. So in huge cities, you have police officers pulling their gun fairly regularly, multiple times a week, if not a day, it happens. What about in places where maybe an officer pulls their gun once in their career? That's a decent amount of the
if you're-
U.S. Bumfuck
If
nowhere.
you're
That's everywhere that's not a major city, which is a lot of places. Can we have a social worker there where the cops don't even pull their gun anyway?
Dude, I don't think that's gonna be policy because that's just
Well,
too.
we could make
It's
it policy.
wasting. No, it's wasting too much time. Just
It's
you're
not.
letting. You're right. You are. You really think that the police
So-
are gonna call a fucking mental health expert
What's
just to
crazy to me?
talk some guy down?
So what's crazy to me is I don't know how the fuck you think calling the police works. You call a dispatch center, right? And they dispatch medical aid.
Yeah.
They dispatch police. They can dispatch
Yeah.
firefighters. What
Mhm.
if they could dispatch social workers? How about what if they do it together? So let's say
fine.
let's say instead of 10 police showing up to the scene, what if it's a couple police officers and a couple social workers? Or instead of 2 police riding together all the time, or maybe like
so
a squad of
like-
10 police showing up to a traffic arrest?
So
What if just
hold
a
on.
social worker and a couple police show up? What if we give one social
Are
worker
you-
for every 10 police in the station? How about something
Are
like that?
you okay? That's not the best idea at all
Why?
because you want as many police officers you can have in a
Police
county
officers
or
don't
town.
seem very effective at often or at always de-escalating. You have to remember,
Dude,
police
they're
officers are civilians.
always
They don't have
good
military
at
training.
de-escalating. Okay, well you can't say that all officers are not that good because
I can't.
not one officer. I mean not because of one guy's actions you can't blame the rest.
Okay, it's not about one guy. It's about like tens of thousands of guys. Right?
Okay, so let's say those tens of thousands of guys don't represent the other. I don't know how many confirmed U.S. officers there are, but they don't represent all the other officers that are.
How about this? How about instead of, and I'm sure you've talked about it. You like to watch your police videos. How about when?
Well, I like watching cops shoot criminals. That's what I like.
How
seeing.
about when somebody pulls up to like a traffic arrest and the guy's being like annoying? How about instead of calling 3 other squad cars, you call like a squad car and they bring a social worker that works for the station? Maybe.
So, like, you're gonna. Okay, fine. Let's do that. They call a social worker down. The social worker goes up to the car and talks to said person. And I assume you want that social worker to calm the person down, right? Or
maybe social workers do.
Get that
Social
said
workers do an
person out of the
insane
car
amount of stuff.
and-
Social workers do an insane amount of stuff.
I don't doubt it, but I'm asking: do you think would you want that social worker person, he or she, go up to that person, and you have no idea if that person has a gun, is on drugs?
You have police there. Why does it matter?
Okay, so okay, let's go into detail.
Let's
Are the
pretend
police-
everybody we pull
let-
over has a gun and
Let me get through
drugs.
this, man. Are the police 10 feet back, or are they right behind the social worker?
I don't know. I haven't thought of where we will measure out the police yet. I'm sorry. I have to do more research on that. I apologize.
So
I'll think more about
figuratively,
it.
okay. So let's assume that officers were right behind said social worker.
Let's assume they're stacked up in each other, like kids under an undercoat. How about that? Would that make
Yeah,
it
let's
easier?
go with that.
Okay.
Yes, and they bum rush the guy in the car and take
Why
his
do
ass
they have
out.
to bum? Why do they have to escalate like that?
Okay,
Why can't
the
we
only
work on
person that escalated
de-escalation?
anything? The only escalation was the person in the car. If they don't
Okay.
get out of the car, you're just arguing with the cop. You're escalating things. When the officer tells you to get out of the car, you are legally obligated to get out of the car.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on states, I think. It varies states.
So how about this? All I'm saying is, in this hypothetical scenario that we keep using, when you pull somebody over, instead of calling 2 other squad cars, maybe you only need 1 squad car and they have a social worker that works for the department.
Okay, in this squad car, how many would be in that squad car? 1 or 2?
It doesn't fucking matter, dude. I'm
It doesn't matter.
this is so
it matters
boring
a whole
to me.
lot. It matters a whole lot.
This
Trust
is
me, it
insane
does.
to me. This is such a weird hill to die on. I
How
don't know.
many in that squad car would be? 1 or 2?
I don't know. Let's say 2.
Okay, yeah, that's the best choice you want. You always want a partner. You never want to be by yourself on
But we
a
already
traffic stop.
2 people on the scene, right? This is backup. You could have one person as backup. You don't need two as backup, right?
But the other one might just be fresh out of the academy, is a rookie,
Oh my
and the other one
god,
might
dude.
be a
Dude,
veteran
maybe
expert.
he's blind and maybe only has one leg. We don't know what's happening in this scenario. How could we? It's insane. Trying
You done?
anything else but forcefully escalating as much as possible would be crazy.
You done? Because I'm going to lose the place I forgot I was at.
Dude, I think this is boring. I think we should move on. I don't understand why we have to do, like,
Oh my god. You can't do
hypermath.
that whenever you don't feel like talking about... No, let's move on.
We have to move on from so much stuff I want to talk about just because you're not ready to. You didn't even know... Oh, okay.
Oh my god. Let's just continue. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm smoking these bowls, man. So if you hear extra sounds.
Okay.
What was your next subject you want to talk about?
Dude, I don't really know. What subject do you know something about? Or, like, a lot about, I guess. If you want to talk about why you support Trump, I'm happy to go back to that, even though you've never heard of the tariffs or the racism or anything. If you want to...
I know, or at least would call myself an expertise is video games or some shit like that, you know?
Alright, dude.
Want to talk about video games?
You might hit me with your last meme, because I'm dying here.
What do you have?
What do I have? Fucking a brain tumor, I bet now.
Boy, you know what I mean. I know you got some subjects I know you want to talk about.
I don't know. The problem is I don't know what you can, like, engage with. You didn't know anything about immigration at all. You didn't know anything about Trump at all. You didn't know what the Second Amendment was before you tried to defend it. Dude, I don't know what you know about other than video games. I don't know, dude. There's something that you have to be able to engage me with. Unfortunately, I was going for something a little more serious, but I don't know. You had to walk back everything, it seems like, on immigration, gun control. I'll say the police thing you didn't. That's fine. The police thing is whatever, because I don't know how many social workers I'd stack 3 feet apart. I don't know. If you don't have any other final memes, like I said, you got all the hot takes. You're like the Republican. Tell me why Obama was horrible and the Iran deal sucked and you hate trans people. Tell me about those things.
I don't hate trans people.
Good deal. Trans rights?
Yeah, give them rights. I don't care. They have rights.
Trans rights. Well,
they have rights.
Hell, we should probably do a little more to protect them, though, right? Maybe a protected class type meme.
Who's gonna? No. Why? Why are they so privileged? They get a protection assignment.
Why are they privileged? Like, race, ability, ethnicity.
So just because of their ethnicity and race, they're privileged?
Sex. Well, we have protected classes, right? Like, already in the U.S.? Like, you can't discriminate based on religion or ethnicity or...
Well, yeah, I know that.
These memes? Yeah, all I'm saying is add gender in there, too.
I don't know why we gotta protect them.
Well, why do we have to protect women or black people?
Who protects black people?
Well,
who protects women?
They're protected classes in the U.S. Trans people are not.
By what? By what? A system?
They're backed by the U.S. government. They're protected classes. I can't fire somebody because I'm like, I guess I'm not hiring blacks today. And I can't be like, sorry, I don't teach girls because these are protected classes and I can't discriminate against them arbitrarily. Or, sorry, bro, I'm not going to rent to you. You're Jewish. I don't protected classes, that's what these are.
Well, I don't think the trans people are in such danger or in a hostile world that they need protection.
Well, I mean, trans people can be evicted and fired for being trans. No, they do not have the protections that those other protected classes do. It just seems like we shouldn't be able to evict people or fire people because they're a different gender, It seems kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I'm assuming that doesn't happen the same thing with trans people.
What do you mean? It does. Trans people get evicted and fired for being trans. It happens, yeah.
I don't ever remember seeing one case about that though.
Well, you also don't remember seeing the Trump tariffs or anything about immigration or whatever. I don't know. You don't see a lot of stuff.
Well, you assume that
Well,
because you're
you've
in a bit
said
of
that.
butt hurt.
Yeah, dude, I'm real butthurt.
You
Crying
sound
over
butt
here,
hurt, my
dude.
guy.
I'm a melting snowflake over on this side, dude.
You look like a snowflake. Come on.
I got so sick of winning every argument that I just gave up, you know?
You fucking roasted me, my guy. Jesus.
Dude, they need to get a social worker or like 8 police over here because I'm just like gonna kill myself, honestly, in a video game, Minecraft, in Valorant, you know? All right, dude,
Oh, that's amazing.
hit me with your last me, Marino. How about that?
Okay. Hmm. Mm, I don't think I have anything. Unless you got some.
No, man, it was great talking to you. You should definitely do some of that research. If
For
you ever
sure,
want to
man.
talk again, I'm down, but please, God, do some research about some of those
I'm free,
things.
bro.
All right.
Anytime, man.
All right. I love you, buddy. Be safe, okay?
I'll let you, bro. I'll catch you later.
All right.
Bye, bro.
Dude, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? I can't believe I was a little bit nervous. Rough. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. That was cancer. Jesus.